Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's a Long Story. 4 campaigns set in the beautiful, wonderful world of Imea. We are here with our beloved crew. Hopefully the music's going to kick in a second. Otherwise, all you're going to hear is me. Do you guys hear the music?
I hear it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great. Awesome. Well, hopefully the folks at home do too. Hello. Join me in welcoming the normal Friday group, our beloved Unearthed Arcanum. Everybody take a look at the camera, wave, and say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Cool. And we got in just in time. Welcome back. Awesome. So before we get into anything specific tonight, we have a couple announcements, and then we have our recap, and then we're diving right into the craziness that is what our group is dealing with inside and out. So a couple announcements for those of you who did not know. If this is the first time watching, welcome. So like I said, there are 4 campaigns that we have running in the world of Imea. Pretty much, in the day sort of frame, about the same amount of time, but in different sort of spots in the world. Also, some are not even on this plane. The wonderful thing that we have recently brought in is that 4th campaign. We have an area that is south of our normal spot in Imea, or south of South Imea. A place that is called the Isles. So we just started that campaign last week, 2 weeks ago, right?
2 weeks ago.
Time.
Yeah, so we skipped the week.
It's been great. It's been awesome. So you should check that out. Those are for our Monday night campaign. So for our Monday night campaign, and we also have a new player that will be joining us next week. So very excited for that. But that also leaves one spot open. So if you've been watching this possibly after stream or after his live stream and whatnot, and you were thinking, maybe I want to dip my toes into playing some D&D with some absolutely crazy individuals, that's us. Please reach out and please join. We have the links down below if you're watching this on YouTube. But if you're watching this on Twitch, and also this will be up on YouTube as well, I will put the links for that game in the chat. Sort of a piratey sort of design of a campaign. You have the different isles. Currently, our group is in the island of Chassavi. And there's going to be probably some cool like ship v ship combat I see in the future. Some diving into abandoned ruins and learning all the deep, dark lore of a world that existed before Imea was Imea. So be sure to check that out on Mondays. And if you're interested, join in. Next, we have our Shadows of the North Shore campaign that we are trying to get underway. We have 1.5. Oh yeah, this is backwards today. 1.5 players ready to go. Not really sure what's happening to our 1 player's communication problems, but we need at least 2 more to be able to have the session going. So for Shadows of the North Shore, if you are unfamiliar with Candela Obscura, it is a game that is a cosmic horror game designed by Darrington Press, the friends over at Critical Role. They've just started their 3rd sort of mini campaign of that. We did a version of that ourselves. We changed a couple of things, putting a little bit of a heavier foot into the real world vibes, moving our Candela Obscura participants into the year 1901 in North Shore, Massachusetts, which is my hometown where I grew up. So a lot of the actual lore and story design around there is actually true lore that is very very well known in that area of the in those cities, that area of the state. So yeah, go check it out if you are interested in cosmic horror games. It is truly the easiest dice system I've ever worked with. We had our playtest, I believe in September. That month, September. Great, awesome. I'm going to assume from now on that was right. With a couple of players that actually joined us for that. So, yeah, that's all them right there. So if you want to check that out, that is under Shadows of the North Shore on our YouTube. Lastly. So we need players for that. So please jump in, or just feel free to even just reach out to me for any comments, questions, things like that about the game. Lastly, we have our, this is our last month officially that we are running our Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt. This is a drop-in, drop-out campaign built for those that are fans of the Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Gothic horror vibes, heavily inspired by those games. It is set in a very cool D&D supplement that is boosting kind of the normal 5e spaces into different subclasses, different races, different feats, different spells, crazy magic items, a whole madness system. It's an extremely cool game. We've had Evan has been joining us for a little bit on some of them. It's been awesome. It's really cool to kind of check out. And for those that are kind of worried about dipping their toes into any sort of any games DM'd by me, we'll say at least, you're in luck, because if you play your first session, it is free. So drop in, drop out. That means you could just play one session, and that's fine. That's cool. I'm good with that. But you can drop in, drop out at any point in time, with the considering that we are going till the end of the month. So that is on Saturdays and Sundays. If you are interested, make sure you jump in now, so that we don't end up having to exclude you. All right, I think that's it. Gain, did I forget anything on that side? Nope, looking for one more for Tales of Aimea of the Isles, and yeah, so great. And then also, if you wanted to follow us on our social media stuff, the link tree is there for to be able to kind of look at our Instagram, our TikTok. We post on there every once in a while, as well as if you like what you are seeing and want to watch more of it, please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That actually helps us out a lot in feeding the almighty maw of the YouTube algorithm, and Twitch as well. So please feel free to do so. Yeah, I think that's it. So before we get into tonight, Jess, would you please give us the recap of where Unearthed Arcanum have left off so far?
Bet. So we picked up right after we had left the big cavern with the statues. We start off going down the path, and we are going very slow because Al and Gwen are looking at everything. Gwen notices something about the blue veins that reminds her of something she's seen before, but not in person. So the school kids do a little history lesson, and Al notices that the veins are sort of converging in a familiar way to something he might have seen in biology class. Al suggests that Siobhan try to be translucent so that he can explain what he's thinking of. Kind of a bad idea. She hurts herself very much attempting. So maybe we won't try that again. Let's see. Nalani, during our travel, has been noticing something that every so often Io's fingers are like twitching unconsciously. So after conversation there, Io says that he doesn't think that this place likes the book. And eventually we decide to take a little rest. During the rest, we notice that all of the torch flames and fires and stuff are blue. The same color blue sort of opens in the wall in the form of an eye that Al notices. Again, a flashback to the zoology, bioanthropology class. Some creature called Lokatha sort of strikes a memory. And as we continue going, there's a big... I'm trying to think of the right word, but a big sort of Big Bang explosion in Siobhan's head when she touches the wall and tries to vibe check it. So that's another thing that maybe we shouldn't try again. There's another conversation with the whole group about Io's book, and sort of we basically encourage Io to admit that maybe he has a little bit of a problem, but decide that for now it's manageable. And then we end up in another cavern with some clear bubbles that are going across at varying intervals, sort of mirrored to the other side. Yori goes ahead and touches one of them and gets sucked in, gets the answer wrong, falls down into the cavern. Siobhan goes down after him. We awaken whatever is below. These chittering creatures come out. We continue to try to figure out the bubbles, one after another, falling into the cavern a few times. We kill a few of the creatures. Notice that their blood is probably not great, that it's filling up these indentations, and try to force them back into the hole. Works for about 6 seconds, around that. Eventually, Al gets through 3 bubbles and ends up on the other side of the cavern, sort of in a mirrored place. The rest of us are still on the other side, and Al is alone with some very dangerous creatures that are growling at him. And we know the answers to 2 of the bubbles. The third, only Al knows, and the 4th we're still working on. And I think I got all of the high points.
I believe... Did you not get past the 4th one? No, you didn't.
No,
That's
he
right.
fell
Okay.
into the... Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I think we have 3 dead creatures on our side. And
Yes, you do.
I
Okay.
wrote down that Io is covered with guys, so I'm assuming that he's like underneath a whole pile of them. And Siobhan's
Surrounded.
almost...
Oh,
Yeah.
They're all over him.
Let's, Theory of the Mind was fun, but let's
Hell yeah.
find out for sure.
Oh
So,
my God.
cool.
this is when you have like 2 minutes to build something. There's your wall.
Awesome.
That's still very good.
Pretty sweet.
Super good.
Actually, I like it.
So we have one side of this somewhat invisible wall. Yori, you're actually, I know you're stepped a little bit closer. We're gonna move everybody to where they were before in a second. So, but Yori, as you got closer, you actually saw a reflection of yourself, kind of looking very similar on the other side, a little bit more feral. I will say the bubbles or excuse me, not the bubbles, the water droplets themselves are. We are going to have to theater remind that a little bit, but we have a little thing to be able to kind of make sure that we know that they're up there. So we have this side, and then we have our beloved Alistair on the other side, facing the nightmare that is Hothir, or at least how he sees it. Awesome. So let's go ahead and make sure first, before we get too far into it. Sorry, I'm going to turn up my monitor a little bit. Before we get too far into it here, to figure out where everybody is. I'm sure it's not perfect. So I do have Gutter. Gutter's going to kind of wait for your cue on this. As far as like the puzzle sort of realm of this, it's going to be very similar to just be like, Gutter's going to kind of follow you guys through this. The fight and battle sort of stuff, you want him involved, you just have to ask. But there's a little bit of a outside of the realms of immersion on that, just to be fair for you guys. But we do have a bunch of these very interesting looking enemies swarming around Io. That shield just kind of breaking off from each space there. I am going to give you guys a little bit of a break. I think originally it was 8. Right now we're going to bring it down to 6. If more come out, more come out. Yeah. So let's go ahead and figure out where you guys are at. So let's start with Gwen. Gwen, do you remember where you are?
Yes, she is hovering between the first and the second bubble.
Okay, so you're still in the second bubble?
I'm not in it. I'm like...
Oh, you're flying. That's right.
Yeah, I'm flying. I'm heading towards... Back up.
Because we have people flying, we'll probably just use that for this then, because that's fun.
Would need to like go into the third one, figure out the answer, and then fail on purpose in order to tell everybody else. Because if you get the third one, you just go past the walls. You can't tell anybody. Unless you have message, you might be able to do
I do have
message.
No, I don't have message. I have
do,
a different thing that I can use. That's take me out.
Let's not use.
Let's make sure we get
sending for this.
Let's make sure we get the rest of them in spots. So, Io, I think I have you positioned correctly. I'm pretty close to, pretty close to where you are in the beginning. Moving that, I'm gonna put a little bit more shine into that. Is that too much?
Is that him just surrounded by people?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Like I said, covered with guys.
Those are a lot worse than what I was imagining. So great job on those minis.
Mm-hmm.
It's more horrifying than what I imagined.
Yeah, they are not friend-shaped.
Yeah.
Not
Who's
siblings.
up in the air there?
That's Gwen, I think.
That's Gwen.
Mm-hmm.
Gwen.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, Gwen's fine. Cool. So, all right, Io, you're in the right spot. Yori, are you in the right spot? We had you kind of like right up against the wall
I just
here.
bashed into the wall, and then that was pretty much it.
Okay, cool. And then we have Nalani. Nalani, are you up top or are you down below?
I think I'm at the base by the rope.
That's
I
right.
had written down Nalani's on the rope, so.
You got it. Cool. All right, Nalani's positioned right there. And I can tilt this slightly, but I'm going to be really careful about that too. I might actually just use the top-down camera for that, for specifics. And actually, we'll take a look and see how that looks here.
Oh, buddy, you're all alone.
All alone. Come on, computer.
That's a spooky scene, seeing Alistair just facing off with the, kind of model of Prothea, like, yeah. That's spooky.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why was everyone in a bad spot this
I
week?
need to ask, but I am. Yeah. I am 10 foot up on the wall next to the fourth bubble.
That's right. You are on the wall. Cool.
Because I cast Spider
Oh,
Climb.
Yeah, you did.
Spider Climb, just standing on the wall. Dope.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I thought it would save me from being shunted out. It did not.
Still a good idea.
How long does that last?
What's smart? It's an hour. I
1
think.
at
hour
least 10
with
minutes.
concentration.
It's an hour. Okay.
And
So,
concentration.
so Nalani, you are, Nalani, you are right. Helps you face the right there.
Yes.
Oops, sorry. Do you see your dude?
Yes.
Cool. All right, and then Siobhan, I think that's about right. You kind of fell on your butt and had just gotten up. Did you move anywhere?
I haven't gotten up yet because it hasn't come back to my turn.
You've
Yeah.
gotten
We
up
stopped
yet.
before we even got there. And I also can't see myself or Yori at all on this.
Yeah, this so that wall's not perfect. Let's do that side. So you're here.
I'm still prone, yeah. under
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
second bubble.
The second bubble would be probably. We'll put it right about there. We're kind of scrunched in a little bit on that front, so also. Yeah, because I'm going to put you just 10 feet above that. The representation down below might not represent exactly what's happening up top. So, cool. All right. Anyone I'm missing? So Alistair's up on the wall, so I'll put him here. You're not at the very end yet, but okay. Cool. Alrighty. Let's do it. So I believe we're starting at the top of the order, correct?
Yeah. That's because that's kind of when you decided to stop. It was a good place. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, Siobhan, you are up. What are you doing?
Standing up. Casting
Nice.
Cure Wounds on myself.
Good move.
Nice.
It's a pretty bad roll for Cure Wounds. I healed 6. I'm gonna walk over to the wall because I'm gonna get myself killed if I go over to the fish people or kill them, which might get everyone killed.
Right. So do you want to kind of go long ways around to avoid them?
There's nobody between me and the wall.
All of those, the wall, or sorry. I'm sorry. The like prismatic wall?
Yeah.
That wall? Okay, you got it. Siobhan, roll me a D4, please.
Oh, dear me. 3.
3. Cool. The 3 you actually see, it is actually a reflection of yourself in your, because you're, wait, actually, you, I'll always forget this. Are you right now looking like Siobhan?
Kara.
Okay, cool. So you actually are seeing Siobhan actually kind of like facing you on the other side of the wall there. Very much in the like, I'd say probably about if you were to roll an insight check on yourself, you would imagine that the realm of like the version that we're seeing is probably close to about maybe like 1 or 2 weeks after your husband passed. So you see like bags under your eyes, you look kind of like tired, but you're also kind of like looking out on the other side and you're actually like kind of like slamming into the wall with this like kind of a claw that's coming down.
I'm gonna take my bloody hand from when I cut it in the first bubble and slam it where the claw is.
Cool. Awesome. Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Yep. Good thing I have a +0. 15.
15. Cool. With a 15, you are... you had 3 hit points, correct?
9 hit
9
points
now.
now.
9 hit points now. Okay, great. That's useful.
Oh no.
I wouldn't have done that if Yuri had gotten hurt before.
I believe you already rolled higher, did he not?
I don't remember. I already did it, so let's see if I kill my whole character.
No, that's fair. Let's be fair. Evan, did your character get hurt from touching the wall?
No.
I know he got like kicked
I got
back
hurt in a
because he
different
flew
way
into
because
it.
dropping from the yeah, but I
Okay.
don't think I got hurt from the wall. I
Gotcha.
don't remember.
Yep.
I did have a
Apologies,
Constitution
there was-
save throw, but I think I
Oh,
made
it
a
was the
Constitution saving
13.
throw. Well, no, I
You're-
must have failed it because I thought the Constitution saving throw was to get through the wall in my head, so I must have failed that throw, but I didn't take any damage from it. So
Whether you saved or failed, the better question would be what number did you roll?
13. He
That.
rolled a 13 in D&D Beyond.
Rolled a 13. Okay, you got it. So yeah, so I will say, with a 15, you do not take any damage, but you do feel yourself kind of like blasted back from that. The version of you on the other side just seems to be kind of like pushing down. I would say you start to see blood kind of forming from the fingertips as they are trying to kind of reach through and grab you.
All right, not the wall. She's gonna yell back to the group
Okay.
and ready herself. Can I? No, I already used my action. But that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, you got it.
You still have movement if you wanted to run away from the bad guys.
How much movement did I use? Well, I stood up and then I walked over to the wall.
Yeah,
And I was
looking
under
at
the second bubble, so I figured it
right,
was the
but we're
last
using.
15.
Remember, hold on, time out. We're using the floor reference does not represent what's happening up above.
Okay.
Right. So I'm going to say we're going to assume the floor is correct. So in that way, you spent half your movement getting up, and then you ran 5 feet over to that wall.
So I have 10 feet left.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move 10 feet closer to Yori.
Okay. You got it.
I'm going to bonus action. Harness Divinity so I can get a Cure Wounds back. Just in
Cool.
case I need that spell slot. And then that's it.
You got it. Awesome. Sweet. Nalani, you are up. Io, you're on deck.
Nalani is... Isn't it 45 feet up the rope to the top? Didn't we say it's 45 feet down?
I believe it's 40 feet. Someone can correct me, though. Because I think we were simplifying on the base of the idea of the fall.
I just knew it was more than my movement. So I'm going to take a dash and go up the rope.
Cool.
While yelling, Io, we got to get out of here. Io, let's go.
Okay. I'd say, Io, you can respond in this turn if you'd like.
Yeah, that's the plan. I'll be right up behind you.
So you have 8 of these things on you. I don't know. That's an extremely calm. Well, you know what? Never mind. That is Io. Never mind. What am I talking about? It's like just holding the shield back. Yeah, right. I'll be right there.
Remember, I can't shout at this time too. So that's the other reason.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yep. Gotcha.
And I am not going in the bubble. I am going to stay here.
Okay. Oh, you got it.
That's it.
Sweet. Awesome.
Who is this next to me up here, though?
Gutter.
That's sorry. I know who that. Yeah, Gutter.
Yep.
And I'm going to yell. I'm going to yell to Gutter. Gutter, you got to help get them up here. Which I know.
Oh, Gutter can do that. Did I put Gutter in the initiative? No, I did not. I'll do so now. Okay. Gutter is going to go after Gwyn, but before the creatures. So you see him looking at you and just shrugging his shoulders. Cool. Io, you are up. Gwyn, you're on deck.
All right, so the first thing Io is going to do is he is going to, with his action, use the disengage action.
Okay.
Then he's going to go up the rope 3/4 of the way because it's 40 feet. He can only move 30 feet, so yeah, 3/4 of the way.
I don't believe you were right on the rope, right? So it'd be an extra 5 feet to get to the rope.
Okay, then in that case, he'd be going up almost 3/4 of the way then.
Cool. You go. Disengage. Boom. And I'll remember that you're... So how far do you have left on the rope?
That would be 15 feet if I had to use 5 to get to the rope. So yeah.
Okay, you got it.
Then with my bonus action, I'm going to ready it to have a tentacle lash out at the first creature that looks like it's going to lunge at either of my friends.
Your tentacle's already out, correct?
Yes.
Cool. Give me 1 second. Okay, so seeing as it is a new map, you tell me where this bad boy is.
Let's go ahead and say it is right. I really wish I could point, because I was literally about to do that. You see the one
Just
that's
say
reaching.
you can say like left, right, or away from the. I
the
imagine you want to be close to the creatures, right?
yeah, to the right of the one that's reaching out. The one that's
Cool.
looking like it's reaching out right at the cliff. Yeah,
Right there.
yeah, exactly.
You got it. A lot of blue on this map. Awesome. Cool. All right. Does that end your turn?
That does.
Cool. What did you do as your bonus action?
Well, I'm holding it, so I'm gonna basically move and have the tentacle attack if it lunges for one of my friends.
Did we? I'm about 90% certain you cannot hold a bonus action.
Oh, okay. In
Someone
that
correct me.
case,
Cannot.
You can't.
okay, I didn't know
No,
that.
you can't.
In that case, yeah, I'm just gonna have it attack that one then.
No.
Cool. You got it.
You're not
And-
there.
You don't even see anything. You're.
And
I'm
that's
just
a,
an audience member here.
that's a 14 to hit.
14 just hits.
Okay, and then for the tentacle of the depths.
Or wait, no, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Oh.
What a tease.
Apologies. 14 does not hit.
No problem. So yeah, that ends my turn.
Okay, you got it. These guys are quick.
Oh.
All right, Gwen, you're up. Gutter's on deck.
All right. Gwen is impatient and frustrated, so she is not going to go back to the first bubble. She made it through the first two, so she's just going straight for the third one.
You got it. Cool. You go right through. You see. I do not remember what we saw last time. Do you remember what you saw last time? For the third one that you failed? This is for Gwen.
Have I been in the third bubble yet? I don't remember.
I don't think you have.
I don't think I
Oh,
have.
you
I don't
failed
think you
the
passed
second
the
one.
second. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
That was the end of my turn. I hadn't. Oh, so maybe I need to go in the second bubble. I can't remember.
I was
now.
going to say, I believe you guys already tested this theory. Correct me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought I had gone through the second bubble. I would have gone into the second bubble, not the third one.
Cool. You got it. So second bubble, you see a version of you, we'll say just for now, and say, whom do you serve?
Did Alistair yell out the answer to that one? I think he did.
I think it was just the
We
first
went
one.
straight
No.
through.
For some reason,
I
when
went
we
straight
were-
through.
Yeah.
For some
The
reason,
second
when
one,
we were-
though?
Yep, I did the first one, got knocked out, and then the second time I went through, I did 1, 2, 3, and then failed the fourth one.
Okay.
But I'm going to say, I mean, this is, like I said, this is a dungeon puzzle sort
Yeah.
of thing. So
No,
there's
I
a way
had
for you to be
to
able to convince
justify it.
yourself that you, the player, or your
Yeah.
character knows what you, the player, knows.
Yeah.
I would do that.
So I think her thought process is, all right, I went in this. The answer that was my answer did not go through. And so thinking back to the previous puzzles, and I think she's going to go, and knowing that Alistair went forward, I think she would say fear. Just thinking that it's kind of the opposite of love, but also not the opposite. So she's just...
Okay. You got it. You guys, Siobhan, as you are looking at Yori and like exchanging glances, all of a sudden you guys look up and you see Gwen just go right from the first droplet right into the third one. Okay.
Say something, Gwen.
Don't you
She
worry.
can. She
Yeah,
can. She's really low.
as she appears in that next bubble, as loud as she can, she's shouting out, the answer to the second one is fear.
I will give you a
Actually, I'm sorry. Did that use my action at all in the last bubble?
No.
Go through? Okay, then using
just your movement.
prestidigitation to make my voice even louder than it normally is as my action.
In the bubble?
In the bubble.
Cool. I'll tell you just above board, in the bubble is not going to have any effect, but I'm going to say, I will say, as you're traveling from one to the other, give me this is a weird sort of thing. I think maybe... I kind of think it's an athletics check.
Oh,
Because you're trying to steady yourself from moving from one to the other to be able to recognize you're able to... no, actually, I'll say perception check. I'll give you perception.
one better. So that is a 7.
Cool. With a 7, everybody hears... That's it.
I tried, you guys.
You'll get one more chance, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. So now.
So sorry, you're in the third bubble now. You see a you see a version of Gwyn that I think only Gwyn knows is like above board. You're all have kind of seen versions of yourselves in like darker sort of times for the most part. That's been going on through your life. Gwyn, you see a version of you see Gwyn actually just like kind of like just waving by to a bunch of friends that were there, and you see kind of like walking up and stopping to you. At first, from like a camera's perspective, it looks like it's just, oh, it's fun backpack Gwyn. But when that Gwyn kind of stops in front of you and kind of like looks surprised, you think back to what actually happened in that instance. This is a memory. Gwyn, other Gwyn looks at you, slightly younger in the face, and says, "What do you hate?"
Boy, you know what? I think, again, knowing Alistair went through and knowing this memory, I think she would answer. Not being sure. Not knowing.
I'm gonna give you one chance to rephrase that, because you're close. You're on the cusp.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I'll put it as like it's the same reason why I gave it to Clinton before, but I really probably shouldn't have.
Okay. Uncertainty?
Got it. As you go by again, I feel like you probably want to try to yell again. So go ahead and give me that. Yeah. Give me that. Perception check. I'm going to say this actually. Okay, before you even so with that roll there, I'm going to say you can convince me on what you're trying to roll for this, because the aspect of you traveling at like light speed from the bubble into the wall and going out, there's a lot of things that you could say that you're using as your strong sort of point to be able to make this happen in time.
I'm waiting gravity to slow down. No, I'm just kidding.
How fast you can speak.
I think that's beyond even
timing,
right.
exactly
Like I would allow like a I would allow like a performance
yeah,
check.
I was going to say
fair.
like performance, like timing it so that you hit the note exactly at the right point, in the way that actors know exactly when to hit like the right, stress the right syllable at the right time to the right place.
Cool. I'm going to ask you this before you tell me what the roll is or deal with anything with that. And you could re-roll if you want, because I wasn't clear on that. I want you to tell me what you say.
Okay.
So this will affect your DC.
She would just say love, fear, uncertainty, and hope that they get that she's saying it in order.
Love, fear, uncertainty. Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead and make that performance check if you want, whatever you...
Yeah, performance. Okay. 15.
15 does not make the DC for that. As you.
Okay. I do have an inspiration. I did say I was going to use it before.
Yeah,
so.
go for it. I'll allow that. Yeah.
Okay. That's going to be a 23.
There it is. Love, fear, uncertainty. Siobhan, you hear that clear as day as you see Gwyn go through the wall. Gwyn, as you go through the wall and are now placed into the fourth bubble here, I'd like you to give me a perception check.
I don't want to say it.
Okay.
So it's negative 1.
There's a certain point where you having to go through this like weird sort of prismatic wall. There is a spot of resistance, and having to make sure that your head is on the right side of the wall long enough for that to happen. I think you end up doing a little bit of like a somersault in the air. And once you get into the bubble, you're fully having to take a solid second to kind of recognize your surroundings.
That makes sense.
Cool. On this side, you see a Gwyn that actually looks slightly older. You see a pile of books in her hands, and as she looks at you, she lets go of them, and they start to float in the air. And you see wings that start to shoot out from her back that look strangely familiar. Your eyes go. This Gwyn's eyes go completely black, and the skin itself seems to kind of go a little bit, fade a little bit, or the skin color fades a little bit. The books themselves start to kind of rotate around your head. And I'll say, obviously, you're both floating in this bubble, but you actually look like you're levitating in this.
Amazing.
Sorry, I need to give you the question. So this Gwyn looks at you and says, "When do you rest?"
So Gwen, even knowing that the last answers have not particularly been personalized to the person, like to her, I think just instinctually she says, "When I know the answers."
Okay. You get shot straight down. You still have fly concentrated on that. So what I'm going to say is I do think we need to have a concentration check to see if you're able to maintain that fly.
Yeah, I think that's what we've done before. So
cool. So DC 10.
18.
Got it. Cool. You're able to maintain, and you're flying, and you're on the other side as you look down and you see glitching out this sort of like weird, interesting sort of form of Hothier. I would say to end your turn, Gwyn, give me either an insight check or a nature check.
Okay. It would be nature 14.
Cool. I'm going to say with a 14, something doesn't look quite right about this Hothier, but you can't really put your finger on it. But you've now joined. You see Alistair just full 10 foot crawling up, looking back, and just like kind of like I think just having like one hand on the wall.
She actually on the ground prone. Where she is right there. Because she got shot out of.
No, Gwen is flying.
No, she's flying. She's flying.
So when you get shot out, you just you're just flying at that point. Okay.
I had to do the concentration to see if I.
That's right. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, to see if I can maintain enough.
Very good.
Awareness to do it.
Sweet. Yes, that is very useful in this case. Awesome. Cool. We switch to Gutter. Gutter was told by Nalani to try to get you guys out and up the rope. So let me flip to that side. Each creature within 10 feet. Nalani, give me a persuasion check.
Persuasion. 14.
Okay.
Did you hear me?
Yes, I did. Sorry, I'm just thinking. So, Nalani, you have a choice here in this, and I hate to put this on you, but Gutter does have a way to be able to get anyone within 10 feet from his wildfire spirit. He can have appear and then teleport the two people, or teleport one or two people within 10 feet. Io is obviously by himself, with the creatures right on top of him. Looking over at Siobhan, you can also see Siobhan is really hurt. So
Io's halfway up the rope.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Correct.
It's going to be
So-
Siobhan.
You got it. Cool.
Mostly
Just,
because it'll piss her off.
Okay,
Also,
you got it.
is Aya still like halfway up the rope? Is that still like clearly within the reach of the creatures and stuff like that? Like, does it seem like they could still swipe at him and hit him halfway up the rope, or is it have to clear of them? Because I feel like that might influence that decision.
Lonnie's perception is he's clear, and that's what I'm going with. And
You got it.
and
Fair enough.
Siobhan always is in trouble.
Okay, you got it. Do you look at this as Siobhan and Yori? He can get both. I'll say it's a saving throw for you guys if you don't want to go.
Oh, hell yeah. Both, if I
Cool.
could take both.
Awesome. All right. I need a
'Cause
dex saving throw.
just for the record, just check. And maybe this is a question you'll make me roll for. Did I hear Siobhan yell, because she said something like, we can't get through, or that doesn't work, or something like that, when she tried to go through the wall.
Siobhan, what did you yell?
Something along the lines of that, like we can't get through the wall, or we can't go
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
way.
I'm gonna try to
say,
get
yeah,
them both.
you heard that. You heard
Yep.
that.
I'm going to try to get them both.
Cool. You got it. If you would like to resist, give me a dexterity saving throw, but both of you are going to get shot back up here. I believe. Hold on. No, he can't.
I think it's only 15 feet.
Yeah,
but I
it's
can
only
get him close
15.
there.
That's fine.
I really don't want to go back.
I have Misty Step and a flying fairy next to me, who's fairly strong.
Cool. Well, it sounds like the flying fairy is going to be staying there, trying to attack this wall again.
Well,
so
I failed that dex check, so if you can do it, I would have failed it, but with a 6. So, but if you can't do
well, it's
it,
only
then we
15.
don't go.
Yeah, I'll say it's only 15 feet. So 15 feet. I will say. How smart is Gutter going to be with this? Okay. Yeah, not bad. All right.
He put us closer to the
And just
bad
put you guys
creatures.
closer.
I mean, hey, Gay. These things are pretty dang fast. If they want to get to you, they're gonna get to you.
Yeah.
The idea is to get you as close to as possible to the landing. Yeah, these things are crazy fast. So, at this point, though, what he did do was to make sure that Yori was in front of you, Siobhan. So that was his action. He does have a bonus action, and that is not a spell for him to do that. So, yep. So he will cast Healing Word on Siobhan. Where's my D4? That is 8 points of healing.
How did healing
For,
word do better
Siobhan.
than my cure wounds?
Actually, let me just make sure because I'm actually not looking at his character sheet right now. Hold on.
I rolled super low. I rolled a, like 3
Okay.
on my cure wounds.
I think I'm
so
right.
that's-
Hold on. Yeah, D4 plus your spell casting. Yeah, that's right. Cool. Yeah, so you take 8 health back, and it is now the creature's turn. So, on this side, you know what? Let's handle the fun one first. Alistair. So, you see this thing, like kind of like coming towards you. You see the arm kind of growing out as that version of you separates into Hothir, and you see it start to run. And as it does so, Alistair, you're pretty dang smart here. So, give me an investigation check.
All right. 14.
14. Okay, cool. With a 14, you're not entirely sure exactly what this creature's deal is, what it is, but you're pretty sure it's not Hothir. I don't know if Clinton's hearing that, but it's going to run towards... And then the 10 feet up the wall. Cool. It's going to run a total of 50 speed, so difficult terrain to kind of climb up and try to swipe at you. Ooh. That's a 21 to hit, which I'm going to assume, I think it's probably going to beat Alistair. 21 to hit?
Yeah. Yes.
Cool. I need a Constitution saving throw.
21.
21. Cool. And then another Constitution saving throw to keep
21.
Your
Yep.
You rolled a 21 twice? Oh, we're losing bad.
You rolled another one, which is just 22. You can see it in D&D Beyond.
21 and 22?
So
Cool.
Yeah, 21 and 22.
Great. 6, 9. Okay. Clinton, if you can hear me, 9 points of lightning damage.
I'll put it
Got
in the
it.
chat too. Oh, he got it.
Awesome.
I heard.
All right. Cool.
Just to confirm, when you cut out, can you still hear and see the thing, or are you backing out and going back in?
I couldn't tell you, man.
Cool, no problem.
Cool. All good. We'll make it work. Sweet. So, coming to our other friends here. Actually, I'm going to say, Gwen, you did see this. I think we handled that on your turn anyways. Yeah, we already handled that on your turn. So, okay. All right. So coming up to this side, it's going to be probably easier. I'm going to place them sort of in the way, but it's going to be a little bit of theater of the mind here. So this rope is 40 feet, and you said you had 15 left, so that's 25?
Yeah.
25 up there? Cool. So yeah, so 530, or 25, 50, 50, 60, yeah, cool. You see these things scurry up the wall. It is difficult terrain getting up there for them, but for 3 of them, they're going to be attacking you, Aya, while you're on the wall.
All right.
And then are we having any reactions with the tentacle?
Well, since it's a bonus action, can't do that.
Okay, there's no reaction stuff with it. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Awesome. All right. Is that right? Okay, great. All right, so we have 3 attacks on Io. Wow, those are bad rolls. Amazing. 2 for sure miss. 1 tries to hit with a 19.
I'm going to use my reaction to cast shield, so that's a miss too.
Okay, you got it. So you hold onto the rope, and in that moment, you just kind of like hold on, and you see this shield kind of like wrap around you as you're just clinging on it. We can even see it like kind of like bouncing off the shield and moving the whole rope sort of back and forth. So Nalani, you look down and you see, oh, for sure these things can climb. So cool, but that's good. That's good. Sweet. We have 2 attacks on Yori, 1 attack on Siobhan. Wow, those are bad rolls. And that one for one of them.
That hits.
That hits. That's right. Forgot you have triple disadvantage on that
0
one.
AC.
Hit. 0 AC.
Yeah.
And then the other one was a 14 to hit.
Doesn't hit.
Cool. You got it in the last one on Siobhan. Okay, you're done. That's an 11, Siobhan. These guys are nasty, okay? But yeah. Cool. That is the end of the creatures. Alrighty. Alcer, it is your turn. So you have this hulking sort of figure climbing up the wall, just reaching out at you. Still like occasionally sort of like glitching out. You're not able to see what else it is. But it is your turn.
But I did see Gwen get shunted out of the same.
Gwen is
teardrop
now
that
on your
water drop.
Yes. Yeah, got pushed out of the 4th one.
Great. So I will first shout out. When do we stop? It's not never.
Gwen, you can respond.
It's not when we know the answers.
Okay. I'm so glad you're here. And then I will reach in and dive into, I guess, the water droplet.
Okay, you have to move the rest of your movement up, and you have a monster that is right on you, so there would be an attack of opportunity because you're only 10 feet up the wall, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we're mirroring the other
I'm
side.
not near the teardrop though.
You'd have to climb another 30 feet to be up. The other side is exactly mirrored to where this is, so you'd be climbing up 30 feet to be able to go to the droplet that you know would be your 6th. By the way.
Okay, that's sure. I'll risk the attack of opportunity.
Okay, you got it. That is a nat 20.
Of course it is.
Oh no.
Okay. 20. That is 31 points of bludgeoning damage.
Got it.
And then I need a Constitution saving throw twice. First one to be able to stay on the wall. And the next is for Spider Climb to stay on the wall.
That's a dirty 20 for the first roll.
Nice.
And a 12 for the second roll.
Cool. The second roll, I need a dex saving throw as you are, because half of 31 is 15. So 12 does not. Yeah. So 12 doesn't make that. Clinton, if you can hear me when you come back. Glenn, I need a dex save to be able to maintain staying on the wall as you are losing your spider climb.
Got it. So I take fall damage.
What was your
Did you-
dex save? If you can hear me, what is your dex save? I'll message it to you too.
13.
13. Cool. With a 13, you are able to manage to stay onto the wall, but you can feel yourself kind of like sliding down. RP wise, you kind of you slide probably like a couple feet down and manage to just kind of like grab on as you are able to continue up the wall, but it's going to be twice your movement to get up the wall. This is difficult terrain. So 15 feet, I know we're dealing with stuff with Clinton here, but I'm going to say 15 feet is not going to cut it. So assuming that he does that, he will be 25 feet up the wall. I'm going to mark that down.
Maybe. All right. Sorry.
All good. So I assume if you're continuing your movement,
I slid down the wall.
You didn't mechanically slide down the wall. You're able to maintain, but now because you don't have spider climb, it is difficult terrain to be able to get up. So using half of the rest of your movement would only get you to a total of 25 feet up the wall.
Okay, but I could recast spider climb.
You could absolutely recast spider climb. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Mhm.
So feeling it slip from me, I will recast and scramble as fast as I can up to the teardrop.
You got it.
I love that. Like,
Cool.
dropping the spell, then immediately just being like, recast.
And just like running
Yep.
right back up to it.
It's dope.
I think because you like stylistically,
flight
like
mode.
you slide down, you get like closer to this creature's grasp, and you do manage to kind of like roleplay wise, able to kind of like try to scurry out just as a second hit like kind of comes down to the wall right next to you as you just start to kind of run up to the wall. You run up, get to the top, pushing out, and then take a leap into that bubble. As you do so, you immediately get sent down. As you have not completed them in order.
What?
We knew that, Clinton.
I don't think Clinton knew that. I don't think he heard that.
Yeah.
That was the 6th one.
Clinton
Not the
knew,
fourth.
Alistair didn't.
Well, I'm not sure either way.
5, 8 plus 5, 2, 11, right? 11. 11 points of bludgeoning damage as you fall straight down. And
Okay,
someone
well,
can
Is it
I
message-
guess
close
I'm
enough
out.
to the? Is it
You're-
close enough to the wall that he could
Yeah,
have used spider climb to like cling to the wall as he comes out?
No,
No?
it's
Okay.
it's
No problem.
it's further out the cliff of that wall there. Clint, if you think it's truly because of communication issues you didn't hear that and not just gameplay stuff.
Okay, I mean it's fine. I guess I misunderstood, so it's fine. We're good.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. All right.
right,
Yeah,
so I'm down.
we see Alistair unconscious on the ground, right behind Hothier, who is now climbing down off the wall, looking back towards the creature on the ground, or looking back towards Alistair on the ground. Okay. Nasty. You're up.
All right. Yori's done with this wall. This wall sucks. So there's creatures near him, right? Like right next to him, essentially, because they were attacking him. So I assume
sorry.
there's.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, just gonna pick one of them. Well, let's see. First, he's gonna bonus action, Giant's Might and turn large.
Cool.
Still not painted
yet. Sorry, dude.
It's fine. I know you're busy. You know, you're busy enough that when we were doing the one shot, you were painting stuff during the one shot to try to get stuff done.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had to make a cellophane wall. What do you want from me? Go ahead.
All right, so he's gonna do a grapple check on one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, using, let's see. He's gonna use 10 to get an extra 6, so plus 6, and then he gets the advantage on it. So what does he get? So that's 18 plus 6, 24.
24. Yeah, you successfully grapple. You got you actually rolled pretty high, but you were able to grapple one of them as you see this mandibles kind of like coming out, just like trying to like bite right at your face. This.
Okay. Now he's going to use his throw. He's going to throw him using the Trials of Ildoten ability to throw. So essentially, at this point, it's just another grapple check to see if he can throw him or not, using the throw rules.
Okay.
So he's going to use the last charge of his armor to get a +3. And let's see what we roll. So 18 plus 3, it's 21.
You got it. Where are you throwing this bad boy?
I'm throwing him right into the wall, like directly into the wall.
Okay.
Like I can throw him up to 6 squares at this point, and I'm just throwing him right into the wall.
Interesting. I love that. Give me a separate athletics check.
That'd be a 22.
Cool. With a 22, you learn the answer to your question. As you send this thing like baseball throwing, essentially like through the wall here, you see it collide, and you see like the wall itself seems to kind of like crack up, like as if it's glass, and you see the creature go halfway through the wall. And then the head like kind of just like falls and collapses down to the ground, full dead. No reason to roll damage on this. It's going to destroy this thing. So this tells you two things. You can get through, but it's dangerous, even if you are to make it through.
Do I feel like I did any damage to the wall? Like did that it, weakened at all, or that, you said like maybe it was like crackling, or, like.
Yeah, you see the crack kind of like go up, and then all of a sudden just seem to kind of rewind, almost as if like time kind of goes back there on that. So yeah, good question.
Sure.
But yeah, that does kill one of them, which makes 4 dead. You see the blood goes out and starts to glow blue.
Could I have thrown him into the wall where the hole in the middle is? Isn't there a hole like right in the middle section? No.
Nope.
Where was the big hole? Didn't they
The
climb
hole's
out of a
in
hole or
the
something?
floor. In the floor, yeah.
Right, but like where in that floor?
I'd say probably about. I don't have a thing. Oh, yeah, I do. I can put that if you guys want that. So do you want to throw him into the hole?
Well, it depends. Like, I thought the hole was in the direct middle of the room, so it would actually be like the wall would be right over the hole. So
no, because it was basically it was the shadow of the, like, it looked like when you came in, it looked like it was the shadow of the cliff, right, that was looking down, and then you saw there was a hole in that. So it was actually relatively pretty close to the entrance.
Okay. Yeah. No, I still would have thrown it into the wall. I hate that wall.
Cool.
Just if the hole had been in the center, then I would have thrown it over that so it like the blood went down it. But yeah, I hate that wall.
Cool. You got it. I'll put the hole right there. Which you can't see right now, but it's there. You're, I'll say this, you're actually past the hole. Your back left foot is touching the outer edge.
Right. I'm going to action surge. and then
Okay.
I'm gonna do basically the same thing.
Cool.
So I'm gonna do a athletics check on the next one.
Failed the first one, I'm sure. And the second one was a nat 1. Go ahead and throw that, baby.
Very quick.
Unbelievable.
Into the hole with it.
That's the same one I rolled a nat 20 on, too.
17 and a 20 is what I got. So
Yeah, that does it. Cool.
Get into the
Same thing.
goddamn
Actually,
hole.
sorry. Roll me one more athletics check to the wall.
26.
Nice. Cool. Awesome. Same idea. You see, like, it's with the 26, you see this, the body itself seems to get halfway through before it kind of like slows down.
No. I'm throwing
and
this one
lifts
into the
again.
hole.
Into the hole?
The hole, not the wall. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You said the same thing. That's why I assumed the same thing. So, okay.
I just meant same throwing it. Yeah. Sorry.
Gotcha. That's all right. Okay. In that case, you're not sure what happens because you threw it in a hole. So, sweet. Okay. But it is not there at the moment. Okay. Cool. Anything else for yours turn?
Is anybody next to me at this point as far as like opportunity attacks if I move?
Yes. The one that was next to Siobhan is also next to you.
Screw it. I'm going to try to move towards the wall.
You got it. Is that the right side? Yeah, that's the right side. Yeah, it's still really hard to see you. Yep. What's that freaking wall? Do this. There we go.
Yep. You can see that.
Cool. All right. So you have these two are up on the wall, so they'll not get attack opportunity, but one of them will. That's unbelievably bad. That's an 11.
Someone's got to send you some new dice for Christmas. You need some better dice.
I rolled a nat 20 on that same die, so it's just kind of
true,
going left
yeah.
or right. I also rolled the craziest nat 20 on Wednesday, so I'm
saw
good
it.
with my dice.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts. All right. Anyways, all right. Anything else for yours turn?
How far can I get towards the wall? Can I get through the wall with my 30 feet of movement? Or try to get through the wall with 30 feet of movement?
Oh. Sorry, yeah. 5, 10, 15, 20. Yes. Yes, you can.
Okay,
Constitution
well
saving
then.
throw.
Yep. 18?
18. You see that crack kind of like go up and then come back down. But you are still on that same side of it.
18 doesn't do it. It's going to be so hard for me to get through that wall.
Mm-hmm. I said it was possible.
Yeah, no, I got you. Brute force
Yeah.
option is not usually the easiest option.
Right.
Yeah, that's my turn.
Cool. Great. All right. We are back to the top of the order. Siobhan, you are up. So, for the record, for all of you who are aware of who is down, which I believe is just Alistair right now, you are not able to perceive that from this side. But Siobhan, what are you doing?
Can I get to the bubble with my movement and dash? I'm gonna do movement and an action dash.
You can't. You do have one on you right now.
The one that Yori just took an opportunity attack from.
Oh, that's right. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, so able to get to. What is double your movement?
60.
60? Okay, cool. 5, 10, 15, 20 will get you there. 20, 40 at the wall. So you only have to use one of those dashes to get there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in the bubble.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you succeeded on the first bubble, correct?
Yes.
Cool. So I will say, roleplay wise, you do hear the same questions, but we're going to assume that you automatically answer them correctly just for the sake of time and mention that. I'm not going to fault you guys for not remembering
Love, fear,
what you said.
uncertainty.
Cool. All right. Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to go, so love, you go right into the second one. The second one, I do imagine just in person, we see that sort of second version of Siobhan, and before it's even fully formed, you're like, fear. Before it even asks the questions, you just yell it. And then the last one, with uncertainty, you on this side, let's see. So we saw, man, it's been a week and I can't remember anything. Can you remind me the Siobhans that we've seen?
I didn't write them down, and I don't have the brain capacity for it right now to remember. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. Yeah, absolutely. So I think we did have one that was, so this, oh, sorry. The second one we knew was from,
I think it was Dare's Wharf, Kara.
Dare's Wharf. Kara,
Oh, wait, the
right.
first one was Ellie when she was in the orphanage, and somehow the answer was love.
Right. So Ellie, Kara, and then the last one would have been,
Uncertainty.
Siobhan. Yeah, and then it would have been Siobhan days after, which I feel like, did we get here already?
That was the wall, when I was looking at the prismatic wall, not the bubble.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I'm going to say you see a similar sort of version of that third one, because that makes sense. Cool. And then uncertainty, you go right through. On the other side, you see... on this side, you see a version of yourself, changeling form, yourself. So just the like kind of like plain white eyes, and you see that pale skin start to break and crack as you start to look a little bit taller, a little bit more menacing, and you see this purple hood start to kind of cower over as you see your eyes go from the pure white to this extremely large irised purple. As you see a mirror just standing over you, and says to you, when do you rest?
When I'm dead.
Okay. You go straight down to the ground.
Shit. Okay, that's not the answer.
I think it's at siesta time is the answer to that one. When you
Yeah, it had to be in
siesta.
Spanish.
Yeah.
Give me
You have to say it in
a,
reverse because we're on the other side of the wall, so it's Hadid,
yeah.
not death.
Hadid.
Feed.
Great. I believe we gave a dex saving throw for half damage, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead and give me that dex.
Or for
18.
doing something what you can do with it, I think, like flying.
Yeah.
Or
What was it?
18.
18, cool. With an 18, if you wanted to actually, this is a little gimmicky, but I think I would allow it. With that 18 dex save, you could have said that you use your action to dash, and if you wanted to bonus action Misty Step to keep yourself from taking this damage, you could. But that's spending a Misty Step, so it's your call.
How much of my movement did I have left over? Because you said I only had to use one of my dashes. Was that the full dash?
So yeah, you only had to use one of your dashes. That would have been, I think we said 15 to get to the rope, 40 to go up. Right? Yeah, so 55. So yes, 60 would have kind of put you into the full movement.
Okay, so that was my full dash. Okay.
Your call. Otherwise, you're taking damage, so that's the...
I wouldn't know Alistair's down either, so saving healing word doesn't make sense, so I would use that. That's logical.
Okay, you got it. So on the other side, you see yourself kind of going with an 18. You're able to kind of plant your hand down first. You're taught to put your hands down when you fall.
No,
you
that's how
manage
you
to
break
kind
your wrists.
Well, yeah. Isn't it that? Hold on,
You
time out
tuck
from
and roll
gameplay.
because
You're still supposed
your
to.
collarbone's a built-in airbag. It's supposed to break so you don't break your neck.
You also want to distribute the damage across your whole body, so that's why you roll. You kind of like roll a fall across your whole body.
Well,
It's
this
the
is
physics
why-
of parkour.
It's parkour stuff, yeah.
This is why all the sports that I play are on the ground. Okay, cool. So
Siobhan,
Yes,
you
yes.
you managed to tuck and roll and take that moment to you're having to make that movement on the other side. So I will say at that moment as you do that, I'm not even gonna have you roll for it. You see, I don't think you see. I have you roll to see a Gwyn in the air, but I do think you see a body. You see a body showing as Alistair, and at this very moment, in the last sort of second of your sort of round, you see Hothir climbing down towards Alistair.
I don't.
So where would you
think I've
like
used,
to go?
So I'd have kind
This
of
would've been
fallen down
using
where
Misty
Gwen
Step.
is.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have seen Hothir before I used my Misty Step. I think I would try to get a little ways away from the prismatic wall because I don't want to accidentally roll into the wall that hurt me.
Well, I'm going to say
Yeah.
this. If you want to give a perception check to allow you to make a choice in this, I'm going to ask you just straight up, how much HP do you have left right now?
17.
Oh, okay, cool. So then this would definitely have been a possible choice here. So give me a perception check as you're going down.
22.
22. So you have a choice here. I'm gonna say if you choose to take that moment to give the healing word, then you are not going to be able to make that dex saving throw. You're going to take full damage going down, but you're able to have that bonus action to cast healing word if you'd like. Otherwise, otherwise,
I'm gonna take
No
the damage
damage.
to cast healing word.
you got it. Cool, good choice. You take 9 points of damage as you slam
full
down into the
healing.
ground.
You
And
heal
see-
7 hit points, Alistair.
Cool. And you see Alistair on the ground. You immediately throw out a hand and see Alistair's.
Can I use my reaction?
Depends on what the trigger is.
Hothir.
What are you trying to do?
The blessing of the guardian on the unconscious Alistair with Hothir coming near him.
Uh,
I guess I could wait. I can wait till he goes after him.
well, is that a reaction?
Yeah, we said it as a reaction.
It's
That's
as a
the whole
reaction.
point.
Then yeah, I would allow it.
Yeah.
100%.
Alistair, you're
Cool.
under sanctuary now.
Awesome. All right. What a game. Sweet. All right, we are back. So that was the end of Siobhan's turn. Nalani, it is now your turn. You are up. What are you doing?
So Io is 10 feet from the top, and there's creatures around him.
15 feet, I believe.
15, and there's
Yeah,
creatures
15 feet from the
around
top.
him.
Yes.
I am going to yell to Io, "You need to get your butt in the bubble."
I'm moving as fast as I fucking can.
And I am going,
Just hold it down.
and then I'm going to go into the bubble.
Okay. You
So
got it.
I already passed I didn't pass the first one, but I saw the image for the first one.
It's up to you. If you think as a character, if you would have Gwyn did shout out 3
Yeah, I know
answers.
the answer. I'm just telling you we don't have to do the first one. Love. So
Cool. Awesome.
I say love.
Okay, you got it. Yeah, you see a version of yourself in this weird sort of decked out sort of robe thing. You, as soon as you start to see it appear, you say love. You go to the next one. The next one says, "Whom do you serve?" Actually, yeah, okay, you failed the first one. Interesting. I should have put you in that second one, but it's okay. Whom do you serve? You see a Nalani that is that you can see there's like ash on your hands as you had to scramble out the door as it was the door of the cabin that was burning behind you. Or actually, sorry, probably when you went back to go check. So that's the Nalani we see. As you start to see that appear, I think it's up to you. The same thing I would say, like as you see it's something that you don't want to think about, you can immediately say fear, and then you go straight through to the third one. The third one is a version of you as you see you hear the sounds of waves coming up on the shore, and you see like a wide-eyed Nalani looking back at you, bow drawn.
I'm sorry, a wide-eyed Nalani looking what?
A wide-eyed Nalani looking back at you. You can hear the beach sort of air coming, and you see a bow drawn on you. And that one says, "What do you hate?"
And I'm knowing Gwen said uncertainty. I'm going to say uncertainty.
Cool, you got it. And at that point, you go through the wall. You feel this weird sort of sense of like time moving faster and slower, and there's this weird sort of crystalline sort of break as you feel yourself almost as if you're going through a shattered window. And you go out to the fourth bubble. The fourth bubble, you see a figure standing before you, slightly shorter than you. You see a turban on his head that has this sort of coiled sort of structure that has the snake head on top of it. You recognize this person.
Yeah, I recognize him as that Sultan dude that was at the cabin, correct?
Correct. That creature looks at you and says, "When do you rest?"
When satisfied.
I'll allow it. You go straight through to the fifth one. As you look at the fifth one, you actually see Siobhan across from you, dagger out to Io's neck. As you see this version, you see both their eyes seem to be kind of like flashing this like weird electric blue. They both look at you and say, "Why do you persevere?"
Why do you? Friendship.
You go straight down. And give me that deck save.
Nat 20.
Nice. Nat 20, you don't take any damage. As you like hit the ground and just like manage to kind of tuck yourself in as you land right in front of Siobhan. All right, gang.
Can I perceive... What can I perceive in this moment?
In this moment, you are still prone. So let me move you over to the other side here. As you were knocked prone, but you haven't taken any movement yet, really, except for like 5 feet going in. So you see a Siobhan. Oh, you see a Siobhan behind you, prone on the ground, hand outstretched. You see an Alistair that is on the ground that looks to be just gasping for breath as you see a Hothier starting to kind of climb down towards him.
I am going to fire an arrow at the creature.
Cool. You got it. Is there any weird thing with firing when prone? I don't think there's anything, right? Or there is.
Actually,
isn't there?
I'll save you. I'll stand up first.
Yeah,
I'll-
go ahead and
I'll
stand
take-
up. That's gonna make it easier for me.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a thing firing prone, but whatever. Yeah.
I think there is, and that's why people argue about it, because it's like, well, why can't I lay down on the ground and shoot my weapon?
Hmm.
But I'll check.
Does a 27 hit?
27 hits, absolutely.
This is going to be a magic arrow, but let's roll for initial damage first.
Okay.
So, 5. So there's going to be 11, and then as the arrow strikes, you see some vines wrap around the creature. Those of you familiar would know that this is a grasping arrow, and the creature is going to take an additional 7 damage, and vines come around the creature, and if it moves, it's going to take some damage.
Cool. Cool. Go ahead and roll that damage for me.
Sorry, the total damage would be 11, 20.
Cool. 20. You see Hothir as you send. Where do you send this arrow?
I am shooting, like, I'm imagining he's on the wall, crawling down, so it's probably like at the base of his neck where it kind of comes into his back.
Okay, you got it. Cool. So you see as Hothir kind of goes down to the wall, you shoot right into the center of the back, and you manage to kind of like, as that arrow hits, you see this weird sort of electrical sort of like arc seem to kind of like shoot from the arrow off into this creature and like the wall around it. As you see the glitch kind of going out more and more and more, and you see it actually shifts back to the original creatures that you were attacking when you came in here. It seems like they are a little stronger on this side. And it falls down dead, and that is 5.
And then I will take my movement to Alistair.
Okay. Okay. Movement towards Alistair. Okay, cool. You can come up right next to Alistair.
And let's see. I don't think I can do anything else.
I think you still have a bonus action.
Yeah, I'm not going to use my bonus action yet. I think I'm just going to... Obviously, I'm looking down at Alistair. Alistair, are you okay? And I think that's the end of my turn.
Do you yell out the answer?
Yeah, and I yell out...
How did you get through the bubble?
It's satisfied. Wait, which bubble? Which bubbles did you get through?
No one.
Same
I don't
ones
think
you did.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So, because Alistair, you got through 4.
I don't know what happened once you went through the
3.
first wall. I mean, I
got through
know.
3.
Nalani doesn't know.
Okay. So Alistair got through 3, Nalani got through 4, Gwyn,
The fourth.
got
I'll
through
make this
3.
easy. The
You
fourth
got through 4?
bubble is satisfied. The fourth bubble.
Nalani was the first person to get to the 4th one. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm still in
You
the
get
4th
through
bubble.
4.
Well, I have to go back into it. Haven't answered that one yet.
There's no, because he did the satisfied.
Oh,
Nobody else
time
got
out.
that
Stop,
answer,
stop. All right. So, of the things that you've completed, Nalani's completed 4. So, Gwyn, you've completed
Yep.
3.
Correct.
Okay. So, we got 4, 3, 3. So, Nalani's first one that got the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Awesome. All right. Oh boy.
So
this is
I'm going to
gonna be tricky for me.
communicate the answer to the fourth bubble is satisfied.
Satisfied. You got it. Awesome. I'm gonna say at this point, Gwyn. Yeah, let's have some fun with this. I'm gonna check your stats and make this hard, but not impossible. Oh yeah, you get pretty good investigation. Good thing I checked. Okay.
No, I think that's probably faded by now because that was from borrowed knowledge, and it's been longer than an hour since I cast it. Because that was before we short rested. I
Gotcha.
just never
Okay,
took it
cool.
off. I'm not proficient in investigation anymore.
Okay, so it would only be +2 then.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
And-
I'm going. Go ahead.
And Joe, if you permit it, I'd like to, before I end my turn, I know I mechanically can't do it because I don't have the ability to at this point, but I'd hold my hand out to help Alistair up. Even though
I see what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, role play. You have a hand down. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
It just feels stupid to stand here not doing that, to move towards him and not like just.
He's just standing over. Oh, I love that. That's a good character moment. Cool. Gwyn, I'm gonna say okay. Cool. I'll give you. You have to roll a 17 or higher on investigation.
Okie dokie.
I'm gonna say you have advantage on this because this is a puzzle.
I rolled 1 under.
Okay.
You're not the one I gave Bardic
Flash
to.
of
did I?
genius.
I gave Bardic to somebody.
You did
Oh,
give me
man.
Bardic.
Flash of, well,
Well,
Flash of
I would
Genius,
say Alistair can also flash a
No, you
genius
gave
from
me
being
Bardic.
prone.
it was Alistair. Yeah.
Okay.
Flash of genius.
Maybe that was lot.
It was earlier. I gave because I've done 2 Bardics, but they only
Yeah.
last 10 minutes, so
Yeah.
yours would probably be
Okay.
gone at this point. But
I
Alistair
used it earlier. I
All
forgot.
good. Okay, Gwyn.
Flash of
Yeah.
So you, so Flash of Genius gets you there. Gwyn, tell me the answers.
Love, fear, ignorance, and then not ignorance, uncertainty, satisfied, or satisfaction is what was accepted.
Yes. I would say satisfied is a better answer, but I'll give that to you. What do they all have in common?
Well, they are like emotions, base sort of emotions.
Yep.
Uncomplicated.
You think back
emotions.
to, so in this moment, so in role play, you think back to the moment where you were looking at the statues and how everything was actually positioned in a certain way, except for the earth one. And looking at the earth one, this is a dragon. This thing should be bigger than this room, and it's tiny. And it seems like it was a nod to it in the idea of it being kind of funny. What sort of creature would find that funny?
Like a kid,
Yeah,
Teenager.
you're on the right track.
a young mind.
Why a young mind? I'm gonna pause it after this, but why a young mind?
I think because they haven't processed the complexities of how different emotions can be. So it's kind of like the base sort of. We're in the first Inside Out movie, guys.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, so the answer to your question, I'm trying to kind of get you to why. Something built this place, and that's a clue as to what built it. I'm not going to say it is a kid, but it is someone that would have a
not
child's
quite a
mind.
kid, but like a newness.
Something that would find this funny.
Yeah. I gotta find this funny.
Cool.
Cool.
So yeah, in that realization of that, it will be your turn in a second, but I think it's just Io. So Io, you are up. You have 2 that are on you as you are struggling to kind of make your way up the rope. It is your turn, sir.
Good. Yeah, I'm gonna. Can I, if I use the rest of my movement to climb up the rope and make it to the first bubble, is that, do I still have movement after that, or is that gonna take basically all my movement?
So we're saying we're adding 5 to get to the top and then get to the bubble. So it's if you're 15 feet from the top, so it'd be 20 feet to get to the bubble.
Okay, then that's what we're doing.
You got
That's
it?
what we're doing. Yeah. And then I do the first. The answer's obviously love. Next one is obviously, was it fear?
Fear.
And then uncertainty. Then when we get to the fourth one,
Cool.
I don't know. What do I see?
Yeah. So when you get to the fourth one on that side, you see a version of yourself. The face sort of, but the face kind of blanked out, as if it's just like kind of like skin that is covered over it. And you see, as you look into the face, as that face is kind of like turning to stare at you, you see it start to kind of swirl, as if it's in this like sort of whirlpool. And then as it pulls in all the way, you see at the very bottom this bright blue eye with only the tiniest pupil in the middle that you remember as what the heck's his name?
Grimlata.
Grimlata.
Yeah. Okay. And then,
Sorry, and the creature looks at you, and you hear that deep sort of voice. When do you rest?
And I think he just kind of thinks to himself, well, when I'm content and satisfied with my path.
Okay. Roll me an intelligence saving throw.
Okay. Oh, come on. Hate it when it gets slow at the worst possible moment. And that's a 21.
Cool. It's tricky because the personality of Io is to answer every question with a conversational sort of like extended sentence. You get the feeling that there's a moment where you feel like as if the water is being pulled out underneath your feet, and then you finally get to that word and you get shot forward. You get the idea that you're going to have to make that roll every time you have an extended sentence answer.
Okay.
Cool. Very neat. Sweet. So you shoot out to the next one. You see on the next one, you see you see what looks to be an island. The island itself looks fairly familiar. Conversations that you've had with I'm not remembering anyone today. What's her name?
Eris.
Eris. Conversations with Eris as you were continuously recounting the place and the time that you first met. You see that island that you remember, and you see the entire island is on fire. As a voice calls out to you and says, "Why do you persevere?"
Determination.
Allow it. Cool. You get rushed forward to the last one.
I think as I'm shouting that, as I'm getting shot out, I think he tries to say, "It's determination."
Give me a same thing. Give me a roll for that. Your call on what it could be. Performance. It could be perception. It could be.
Okay, let's say performance.
Okay.
Oh, come on. that was an accident. I really do mean that. I did not mean to click anything. Okay, well, that's a good roll, though. That's a 26.
26, absolutely. You hear determination as you see the figure that shoots out before you. For a second, looks very much like one of those creatures that is laying down dead on the ground. Great. Io, as you get to the last one, give me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. 6.
Okay. With a 6, looking out at the as you're getting to that last bubble and you feel like an elation in your chest, you feel like you may have figured it out. You feel the bubble get really dark around you. You see the underwater. You see that you're underwater on the sea floor. It's very much like your dream. You look around, all of a sudden you don't see the ends of the bubble anymore, and you are stunned for a turn. Okay. Gwen.
All right, so she's going to look down, see that Alistair has Siobhan and Alani. Siobhan doesn't look very good, but the sooner we get through this fun puzzle, the sooner probably we can get rid of these guys. So I'm going to go back into the fourth bubble.
Okay. As you do so, I'm just going to tell you now, as you start to kind of like look around, looking at that, you see Hothier was here when you found Alistair, you found a Hothier here. So you're wondering how that happened, where it came from, where those things, and you start to see other figures. At this point, hard to see, looking like they're about to come through the wall. They're going to come through this. They're coming through this wall unless you finish this out.
Oh boy, okay. All right, and knowing I'm going to keep this in my head that whoever created this thinks that this is great fun. So that's going to be where I go from here. But I heard Io say determination for the next one, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. So in this one, I'm going to look at that winged version and just say, satisfied.
Cool. You see the winged version of Gwen kind of look at you and nod to the side, very much like a certain patron that you are connected to, and you go to the next one. That was actually, so that was when you rest. Yeah, so that was satisfied. And then for this version, you see your mother standing through an open door frame, leaning out. You see her hand kind of pressed up against the wall, truly keeping you from moving forward, and just looks at you and goes, "Honey, why do you persevere?"
Determination.
You see, you manage to feel yourself getting pulled right just underneath your mother's arm. As you get to the last one, give me a wisdom saving throw.
Guys, this is gonna be okay. Can do it. I have a +1. 17?
With a 17, you feel the world go dark. And because Io is in here, you look over and you see Io staring out at what at first is nothing until you see the coral blackened. You see there's a figure that seems to be kind of like hung through the coral, almost as if it's like sitting on like a cross of that. And you see the figure's like mouth agape, jaw kind of open. You see an eye swirling up above, looking right at you. And you see I'll say you see the figure itself that is kind of attached to that sort of like weird, like hands kind of dangle to the side, looks up at you, and mouth kind of just cracks back into position, and the eyes start to turn into that deep, I believe red, deep red. The skin turns into this reddish sort of hue. The horns come up, and it's an older version of you, dressed just like your mother. As that version of Gwen looks at you and goes, "How do you feel?"
Entertained.
You see a big smile across her face as you and Io go straight through the bubbles. In this moment, you see there's figures that are starting to kind of emerge out from the other side. Siobhan, you see this hooded figure. Actually, I'll do this because it was there. This hooded figure comes out and starts to kind of walk towards you, every stride moving 10 feet forward just from the random sort of extended appendages, as you see Amir's face kind of flash before you, a big smile, wicked grin, until all of a sudden and you see the version of the silent stalkers, is what they're called, goes down. As you see it is much smaller than Amir is. You see the camouflage changes into that. You see the walls start to kind of break down. The glass goes all the way up and just shatters down. As you guys are out of initiative, you beat the puzzle. As you go to collect yourselves, grabbing the people that are kind of like stuck on the ground coming up, you all try to gather your breath as you see Gutter on the other side just waving as if saying, "My turn now." And with that, we're going to take our 10-minute break. We'll see you guys in 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Good job, guys.
Nice job.
right, welcome back. Still dealing with some connection issues, but no big deal. We will continue forward. So, to answer any possible questions here. Sorry, let me get my bearings here. Where's my cave? There it is. As you see the wall come down, you see the creatures that started to kind of like surround you, Io, and those that kind of took those different sort of forms going through the wall. You see them all sort of start to kind of retreat back down into the hole. As they do so, you see Gutter kind of like we kind of like catch a glimpse of Gutter kind of like staring over the edge, looking straight down, and then looking at you all kind of across the way. Gutter kind of just like stands there and just.
Can I? So, as turns usually happen basically simultaneously. Mm-hmm. What Yori would have been doing when they solved the puzzle was swinging his hammer as hard as he could at the wall, and I just sort of imagine that like he gets this feeling that like, because it like shatters and crumbles as he's doing that there's a sense that like he did that. Like
absolutely
like the Ghostbusters thing where like the guy is shooting it's a Ghostbusters reference. There's one where there's a guy who's forget it. It's one guy who was doing a thing and the other guys succeed and he thinks he did it. But anyway, yeah. So as the wall comes down after it's shattered, he just goes, "Fuck you, wall. I'm from the Hearthkeep."
Love it. I love it. You all are kind of staring in. For those who may have thought that Yori did it, some of you may be staring in awe. You're not entirely sure what happened. You do see Gwen kind of over the other side as Io. You kind of like snap to and are coming back, come back. As I think you come back and like you have your hand out in front of you, just like reactively. But yeah, you guys are. I will say, like mechanically speaking, you guys are good. You finished it. You see the door sort of just.
Yeah, I think Gwen would yell across and say, "Gutter, it's fine. You can come across now."
Give me out. Give me that.
Great job, guys. We did it.
But entertained? How did you get entertained?
You remember the dragon statue back in the other room?
Oh yeah, that and he
How
was
it was
drawn all
kind of a
goofy
joke?
like. Yeah.
Whoever built this is having fun.
Wow.
But I don't think it's malicious so much as new.
Like a kid playing with their
Not
wooden
quite
soldiers.
a kid, but it's the best I can come up with right now.
Feels like a jerk because I gave it 3 correct answers in a row, and every time it slammed me on the ground. I had come directly from out of the bubble. I have come from the Hearthkeep, and I have come from the Feywild. Those are 3 correct answers.
Gwen's about to say something along the lines of, "Well, most kids are jerks," but stops herself because it's Yori, who is a
That's
child,
very true.
and not really. So, look down at the Alistair and Siobhan. Oh, Mitch, if you're saying something, you are muted.
I'm anxiously awaiting Alistair's reaction to my outstretched hand as all of this is going on.
Yeah, I pull myself up. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Of course.
All right, so
Of course, Al, and kind of brush him off a little bit.
What are we doing now? What's the plan?
Let's get out of
Door
this
opened
room
up here.
first.
You gotta get up that wall.
Well, a couple of y'all took a bunch of hard knocks. Remember what we had talked about? I mean, me, that's one thing. What we need 6
You're
votes to say let's
yelling
go.
this 40 feet down to us, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you are up
You can
there.
imagine
Yeah,
That's
we
a
all
good
kinda
point, that's
got
a good point.
Closer, but yeah, it's
I think I'd get a little closer. It's like, so we have 2 options. We can either keep going.
I love that person to yell. We have 2 options. That's so good.
We either keep going until all of us have gone down once, because we already broke my rule, or we push on. Needs to be 6
Well-
yeses, because 1 no means we turn the hell around.
we might be closer to the other side. Like when you've gone, when you're trying to cross difficult territory and you more than halfway across, it makes more sense to just keep going to the other side rather than go back over what you've gone. But we don't know that, so it's just something that could be close. We might want to just leave this room first. I don't like this room. Can we just go into the next hallway and then maybe sit?
I think this room is safe for now, but why don't you guys get up here? I don't have a rope. Does anybody have a rope still? We could go back and get the other rope.
I mean, I have rope.
How does Gwen not have a rope? Hold on, time out. What
Yeah,
happened?
she left it somewhere.
Okay, I love it. Gwen, you don't have a rope because you use it more than other people do. Like that's
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
I think
I
that's
don't know where I
probably
placed
why.
it because it's
Yeah.
not collecting dust somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Joe, Nolani would like to walk up to the base of the cliff, drop an
Mhm.
acorn seed, at the base, and concentrate as hard as he possibly can and see what happens.
Where are you doing this?
At the base of the cliff, or base of the rock wall, I am trying to turn this acorn into a tree.
Cool. The rock wall forward in the path or backwards in the
Right,
path?
so that my intent is that then we would have a tree to climb up the rock wall and get to the top.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, you drop the acorn onto the solid rock and crystalline tiled floor. You see it bounce around a couple times, and you're just staring at it.
That's gonna work. One of these
I'd
days.
rather
Keep
if you would
trying
allow
It's
it.
gonna work.
It sprouts tiny roots that try to take hold, and it just kind of shrivels and dies.
Yeah, I just can't find anything. Yeah, sure, absolutely. It potatoes. It looks for some sort of
Potatoes.
I think
Potatoes,
Nolani,
it's a verb.
having tried this multiple
good-
times, just
yeah.
kind of does a shit and looks at Alistair like, "What am I doing wrong?"
I don't think you believe
One of these days
Hudson.
will give you like
what
a
did
nat
you
20
think was
roll for
gonna
it.
happen? Yeah. What did you think was gonna happen, Nolani?
Uh,
There's a
That's what happened.
yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
there's a pause as you all kind of look back into a room that I assume at this point you guys are kind of all basically have found a way, because you can just climb, and we'll kind of push on ahead from that. So I imagine it's just a scene where you guys are kind of standing over the opposite sort of cliff face, and you look back at the area where you left, and it looks exactly the same.
Is the wall back in place?
You didn't see the wall to begin with, so in that respect, right? You didn't see the wall until you got closer.
Right.
So in that respect, it looks exactly the same. Looking down, you see the shadow of where the where that cliff kind of goes down, and on the other side, you don't see the shadow.
if I go to the door, does it look like the same corridor that we came from on the other side? Like, do I
Good
see
question.
myself appear in the other doorway, or does it just look the same?
Oh no, nothing like that. No, you don't see like there's not mirrored versions of yourselves, at least not that you can see from this distance. I will say this, like you peek down that corridor, it looks almost exactly the same, except that it looks like it's still going down.
Cool.
So that's the like truly that's the only way you guys can tell you're going the right direction.
Does everybody appear the same? So Nolani shot the creature that was obviously more massive and bigger, and then it returned to the smaller creatures from the other side. Everybody looks pretty much the same, correct?
I think out of like periphery, there might be a couple of you that are like that you're pretty sure you saw another one glitch out, like another one of you, and you look and you don't see any sort of sign of that. But there's probably a little bit of like a mirror effect here. But nothing when you concentrate.
The blue veins of the ore or whatnot, are they still coming together and getting larger?
So what you see right now is the veins themselves, and I guess I probably didn't explain this going into it, so I apologize. But the veins themselves seem to actually move from the wall, seem to kind of found a way to go downward into the floor. And that blue tiled floor has a very similar sort of sheen as to what the currents are that you've seen. So again, in that same sort of mirrored sort of effect, you see the currents go away or go up the wall on the other side and continue forward. They don't seem to be any thicker at this point. But it's truly like this room is absolutely mirrored. Perfectly symmetrical.
I think we need to answer Ayo's question. Will we go any further? Are we going, or are we going back? What's everyone say?
I'm sorry, I thought that was a rhetorical question. We're going forward.
That's one yes.
Yeah,
I say yes.
2 yeses. 3.
absolutely yes.
Yes.
We're so close to finding answers.
Give it that to you a bit.
He said yes.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Cut to the subtitles underneath where it just says "fuck no." Let's get out of here. Like, but they just started appearing now. Oh man.
Oh boy.
Okay, so you guys move forward. You see the corridor start to continue to kind of move down, and also gets a little thinner. From your vantage point, you can see about I'd say about maybe like 60 feet till it actually goes out to seem like it opens up into another sort of smaller room.
We need a rest before we leave this hallway, guys.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, but before we go, go ahead.
I was going to say this. You do not see a door or a door frame at the room up ahead.
Well, either way, whether we're going to rest or not, Yori goes up to Siobhan and just goes, hey, can you bend down a little bit so you're face to face?
Sure.
And he headbutts you for a healing word. You get 4 health back from it.
Thanks.
Like it just, it hits you, but like you feel like the shock of it as if it would be like, I'm sure you're like shocked from it, but then you just, you feel a little bit better. You feel kind of like a friendliness from it. You know, like it was just a nice thing, and you just feel your body feel a little bit better. Yeah, no
Thank
problem. That's
you.
what me and Fenrir do when we're hurting. So, you know, it seems to work.
Is Fenrir here with
No,
us? Okay.
I wouldn't have brought him in here. Plus,
Somewhere
there's too much to explain for. Like, yeah.
I think we left him with
Somewhere
the ship, didn't we?
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You see, you cut to Fenrir on deck, who's like looking around. And he senses that like Yori headbutted someone else. He's pissed off.
That makes sense.
Something's wrong. Starts to old yeller to. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember the name. I don't know what's going on with me, but we're in the dungeon. We're not here.
Boaz.
We're in the mountain. Boaz, thank you. Jeez.
I was trying to come up with the boy from Old Yeller, so I'm glad that you guys.
Timmy.
Timmy.
That's Lassie.
Timmy trapped in the well.
Yep.
Anyways, all right, joke over. So you guys go. Yeah, I would say like walking down this hallway, you don't feel like the next room has. I'll say this: give me a perception check as you guys kind of walk down here.
6. I see everything.
6, cool.
19.
21. And can I healing word Alistair? Or, I'm sorry, can I cure wounds Alistair?
Yes.
That was a really good roll. That's 9 hit points to you.
18.
That's looked way better than mine. I gotta play that one.
Perception.
Perception.
Nalani is uncharacteristically unperceptive, holding an acorn, examining it.
Cool.
Rolls an 8.
You're gonna get it one
You
day.
see, there's a
I believe in you.
there's just an intense sadness as you're staring at the acorn, just going, what is magic? What is it? Okay, cool. With I'll say everyone that rolled like a 15 or higher, you guys see the room itself seems to open up to being only probably about maybe about 40 feet in diameter. It's really like it's almost like it's just a small sort of like connection from a hallway to another hallway, but it does seem to have that sort of round, rotund sort of look to it. From the distance of where you guys are at, which I imagine you're still like kind of like 40 feet away, you notice that there looks to be like a collection of statues among the walls there, at least like directly opposite of you. But notably, you do not see any door or any sign of like an opening where there would be a like where a door would come out and shut you in.
Al, can you set up your hut so that we can get a little rest before we commit ourselves to whatever creepy statues are beyond?
Though if we gonna do that,
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna do that,
you go ahead, Al. I'm sorry for interrupting.
nope. I just asked what if we're gonna set up the hut. What?
What were the limitations on that spell again?
To be clear, right now you guys are still in the hallway, so just let you know.
Well, the biggest limitation on that is I can do it once a day. I need 10 minutes, and then once it's up, I can't move, and only the people that are inside it when I cast it can enter and leave.
So, I say if we gonna do that, we should probably call it a day and pick up fresh the next day then.
The question is
Above
where?
board.
Are you guys going into the room, or are you going to do this right in the hallway?
Above board. it's fine if you guys want to do a long rest, but like in my mind, it's really hard for someone to do a long rest in the middle of a dungeon that's trying to kill them, and like even inside a little tent that's fine. It personally, as a player, I usually frown upon long rests in a dungeon or something, just because it feels a little bit like, I don't know, like you wouldn't be able to do it.
Cheesy.
But if everybody wants to do it, it's fine. I'm totally flexible, but that is my feeling about it. I'm fine with the short rest if you guys want to do a short rest in the thing, or just do a short rest just sitting here. That's fine too. But a long rest is a little bit different to me.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. In that vein, then, while Io and Alistair are having that conversation, I'm just gonna absentmindedly walk into that room.
Yeah, Gwen was on the verge.
As was Yori.
Cool.
I was about to roll to see if he was going to just wander into the room, but
You got it.
It's
Alistair, as you walk into the room, you see around you almost like a perfectly circular room, as if it's like some sort of like sanctuary area. But because you were the first one to walk in here, you immediately feel the ground begin to shake. You feel looking around, you actually see that there are two other pathways here. As you see, there are no like markings for doors. They just look like they're openings. And all of a sudden you see wow, it's hard.
We understand.
Materializing over the openings, this large, perfectly steel door, as you are encased in. Alistair, that is what you see. Sneeze? No? Okay. Oh, nice.
Just me.
Just you. The rest of you look and
Just
see
me.
Alistair is alone in a room. But a couple of you said that you were about to walk in here.
right. If he walked in, I definitely would have followed him in.
Yeah, I would have been close behind,
Cool.
telling
Then
everyone
all
to take
three
a
of you
minute.
feel that's all three of you feel that same effect.
Okay, you're going on. Okay.
Nalani, Io, Gwyn, give me perception checks.
13.
13.
Don't ask me.
Okay.
Um,
Is it negative?
Yep.
DC's pretty low. Okay.
It's -1. I rolled a natural one. Can't do
24.
anything.
Mine's at 24.
Okay, cool. Nalani and Io, all that you see is when they walk in, all of a sudden you see them start to kind of like you see their shoulders kind of go up and like start to kind of like stand around, and like you see them start to kind of like lose their footing as if there is like an earthquake sort of happening, and then looking back in your general area, but they don't seem to catch your eyes. They're still in an open doorway. Io, you see the same thing. Gwyn, you notice the marking of this like current. You actually notice that it actually seems to split out into like three separate sort of currents, and the way that it does that is not typically representative of how like a river would naturally produce, and your mind gets stuck on that. You full
Yeah, I
ADHD.
feel like she
of,
probably
yeah.
starts like sketching it so she can study it more
Yes.
later.
Wait a minute, that's not right. That doesn't.
Yeah,
that's not how that
that's
works.
not right.
Yeah.
But I think as I'm doing that, I probably just thoughtlessly walk forward, and then
Okay, you do it.
like
You do it.
I
You
was
finish
heading
your
into
say,
the
and then
room,
you
got
ro-
distracted
walk
by
forward.
that, and then I
Cool.
just
You got it. Nalani, you're about to say something as you see Gwen about to. Well, actually, no. You see Gwen kind of walking forward. The rest of you, Alistair, Siobhan, and Yor, you see Gwen walk right through a steel door, like nose in her book.
Did you see that back?
Cool. I throw my cane out to stop her. It just. Yeah. Did you? There's a door.
What? No, there's not. I look back,
You see a door.
No.
See a steel door.
reach out, and I touch it.
Your hand goes right through.
It's an illusion. Do they see my hand on the other side?
Yeah, we.
Yeah, they do.
Yori
Well,
already
not only do they
said
see your
that.
hand on the other side, they just see you waving to them. Like, I think
That's
Io just, like,
true.
they don't know that you can't see them.
I feel like I do that thing, where you like hop out or try to hop out one side. We'll see if it works. And then like hop back in and look at it from both sides.
You 100% do it. And you look at the other side and you
Respect.
see Alistair and Siobhan, and looks fine.
I don't think it's dangerous. It's fun. Everything in here is fun.
Io, what's she doing? And what's going on?
Yeah,
Io?
you just see
Like she's
Claire
literally like,
just-
Let, hey,
what?
this is one of those things we like to call an experiment. Come
Is
on,
this-
come
did
on,
you
Nene,
learn this
gutter.
in school? Is this like a school thing I'm not getting? What?
No, there's certain kinds of magic called illusion magic, and if you just walk forward like so, then he pulls him with him and motions for Gutter to come along too. Tries to go
Okay.
right through the wall as well.
You go through. Now remember, you don't see a door.
You don't see a wall.
There's no door.
Yeah, going through the opening.
Yeah, you walk through the opening and you see, like, you turn back around as you're making the assumption, and you're correct. You see Gutter turn around, and just start immediately going, just starts losing his shit. Goes to like bang against the door, and there's nothing, and that freaks him out even more.
Oh, buddy.
Just runs to the center of the room and just sits and just kind of rocking back and forth. This is the longest time he's been underground in years.
Just everybody
So
having
you
a
said
great
there's-
time while
there's-
Siobhan just nurses internal injuries.
Alistair had lower hit points than me. He's the one that went down. I don't know why
Yeah.
everyone keeps calling Siobhan out for that.
Because you're at 12.
Love it.
Yeah, but when you healed her, she was at 8 and I was at 7.
Yeah.
I think Gwyn specifically. Gwyn, you're starting to kind of get the feel for things that are going on here. Give me an investigation check on this room.
Okay. 16.
Looking at this room, first off, the big thing that you notice is that there is a lot of artwork on these walls, carvings of they are statues, but they look to be, most of them are like carved out of the wall, and they look like there's certain scenes of things more than just portraits, so to speak. You kind of take a mental note to be like, that's interesting. We're gonna check that out in a minute.
Does it look like the same artist who did the other statues? How you can tell?
Good question. No,
Okay.
it does not. What did you roll in your investigation, actually?
16.
16, yeah. With a 16, no, it's not. It's subtle differences, but it's probably not exactly the same person or same entity. There's a weird thing in this room where I imagine at a certain point you guys, one of you explains we felt an earthquake in here, and you guys didn't feel that at all. There's a certain trickster vibe to this place. It doesn't that was unnecessary, right? There's no what did that prove? What did that cause? What was the, were we supposed to get anything out of that? And I think with a 16 you get no, there's nothing we were supposed to get out of that. There are things that we're risking our lives for here, and I think that's pretty that's on purpose and pretty apparent in the room here, or in this dungeon. But there's also certain things that just are whimsical.
Cool. I think from that I would say, I think we're safe in here, except for maybe a few little tricks.
Yeah. With 16, you do feel pretty safe in here. I'm going to tell you above board, this is a sanctuary room. You guys do whatever you want.
You guys want to take a break here?
I think
gonna take a
it's
sit.
our best choice.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm definitely pretty tired.
Yeah, I guess that could work.
Okay. The question is here, do we take a short rest or a long rest?
I would say a short rest. But I'll go with the group's kind
Yeah, I'll
of
go with the group on that because Gwen has not lost any hit points. She gets all her stuff back on a short rest pretty much, and she would leave this up to you guys.
Io's sitting better than he was. So I mean, I'm never gonna say no to a long rest, but again, going with the group, especially if there's someone who really feels uncomfortable about taking a long rest, I'm not gonna belabor it.
Okay. So it looks like we're 3 for short rest, it sounds like. But
Short
amiable. Short rest. Okay. Cool. All right. As you guys take a solid hour in this room.
I had a quick question.
Yes, please.
Last session I had sent Houston up those stairs. Do I still feel a connection with him, or is it like gone, like when he goes back to wherever I summoned him from?
You'd have to resummon him. I think at this point, I think there's probably.
I more meant, like, did it feel like he got petrified, or did it feel like he poofed out of existence?
I think he got petrified and then poofed out of existence.
Okay, then I will spend this hour resummoning him.
Cool. You got it.
I have the stuff.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. Cool.
That's right. I don't have any hit dice left. It's fine.
Okay.
No, you guys, we can take a
That's
long
the way
rest.
it's supposed to be. No. We said short rest.
Okay, all
I
right.
already clicked the button.
Okay.
I'm sure other people have hit dice.
Let's do this. So as you guys are, and we'll take this as like you're focusing on things that would be like low energy. And I have a couple of ideas of stuff to talk about with some of you, but I'm gonna kind of leave the option open. Like obviously, I think Gwen, we know what we're looking at. I think during this time, we'll do this in opposite order. 'Cause I think I have a clear understanding of the back and the front end here. So, Io, what do you think you do for an hour of downtime?
Hour of downtime. What we're mainly doing is we do that thing where we're like lying up against a wall and then we just slide down. At this point, we are doing some sketching in the journal that I got from Dr. K. Just of like the weird water. And I think this is actually in some ways kind of absent-minded. It's just the first journal he had it got his hands on, and really he's kind of just drawing some of the things he's seen. Primarily what he's drawing is the 4 figures in that first area, like a sample of the water, and I think probably just little notes here, and what he's saying in those notes are something along the effects of maybe can fight Grunlatla, maybe no. Cold.
As you write down cold, and this is like right after you've made this sort of image thing, you get a response back that like is like, I'd say the second you put like the period in cold, you get a response back. Where are you?
Right now, shipwrecked is what, and not, I don't write the but I said right now, shipwrecked, some weird island, weird square. And then I draw out the square.
You draw out the square?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. unfamiliar. What island are you shipwrecked on?
It's abandoned. There's another ship here. Or another old shipwrecked here. Somewhere in the middle between Celeste and Little Nest. Or not Little Nest, there's Worth.
How long were you sailing?
Above board, and we've been sailing for 2 days? Or 3?
It would be, I think 3 with the like finding the island. That was the middle of the 3rd day, I believe.
Gotcha. I'd say about 3 days. It does not like the book at all. Nearly killed me just opening it.
You see you're starting to kind of like write about the book. You see the scribble back that's coming to you is coming before you're finishing your sentence. As it says, collect as much information as you can and return to me immediately.
Okay. Any idea why this place hates the book so much?
There's a long pause.
Okay. 1 second.
And then there's a response. Magic is a fickle thing. Feel free to give me an insight check.
Okay. I'm definitely doing that. $14.
How much did you talk to Dr. K about this other book?
About the one that we got from Grunlatla. When we first got the journal, every time something would have happened, I detailed something about it to him.
Okay.
So I would say pretty frequently. In fact, since this is the next time something's happened, yeah, that's happening.
When's the last time you mentioned the book? Before today.
Before today, it would have been when I was given the task by Captain Boaz to catalog make the edits to the ledger. Instead, that was when I wanted to document things to him.
What did you say?
That was when that was when specifically I was like, hey, some crazy things happened. Specifically, I was talking about when we had last gone to a temple that would have been Grunlatla's back in Celeste.
Okay. You did not receive a response during that time. With a 14, it's a slightly ambiguous statement. Magic is a fickle thing. I mean, you had a lot of college professors that would give you these kind of non sequitur, essentially, like phrases that really truly don't even mean anything. You don't remember getting those from Dr. K.
I think you just see Io at this point respond. That's weird, but yeah, I guess it is.
I have some resources that I could use to try to reach out to you sooner rather than later, to get you and your group safe. I could possibly have this person meet you on the island if you'd like.
let's see where this leads first.
Cool. You see a message that says, "Don't die," and then you see the word magic, and then it's immediately crossed out.
If he's gonna make any more insight checks, I was wondering if I could give him my bardic. As part of what I'm doing during my rest, we'll be telling a story.
Okay.
And that story will be about the land where he's from, where a wyvern turned itself into a beautiful woman to trick a great warrior. And that idea of that sort of, somebody pretending to be somebody else is in that story.
I love
just
that.
happens to kind of be in his head a little bit.
I think with him seeing that cross things out, I think he's going to kind of just be like, speaking of magic, you remember that class that you, me, and Al you were teaching? Al was there, Gwen was there, and he mistakenly called a Glabrizu a Baylor, and you threw the chalk at his head.
You get a response. It's hard for my brain to remember the less finer moments. So if I did that, I do apologize.
And thing is, I don't really know how I want to test. I don't know how I know how to try to test that at all. Okay, so I'll just ask above board. When you and I had first did this whole thing and we learned the whole thing about a lie, does the paper reflect that at all?
What are you referencing?
Basically, when Dr. Kethril wrote something that was obviously a lie, it caused him physical pain. Is there any tell in the paperwork that would reflect that?
Roll me an insight check.
Okay. And then, is a bardic a D4 or a
D6?
D6? Got it.
That's a D6 right now, yeah.
You have to beat a 24.
Jesus Christ.
Damn. And I
It's
rolled
alright.
so low on the D20.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it wouldn't have helped.
I rolled really high.
No problem.
Yeah, you're not sure. It's the thing is in general, what you've been left with is the idea that was interesting. Either Dr. K is in a rough mood or distracted. There's a good chance that no matter what, you're on to something that's very exciting. So it would not be out of place for Dr. Kestrel to be excited in his writings towards it. But I would say too, he would always probably value caution in looking at things, and you don't see that here. So, I mean, obviously above board, we kind of know what's going on. in character. You're just not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would look at it like, in my head, I think for Io would be equivalent of like saying, that's strike one.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I don't think it would necessarily stop you from writing it, but you might think, maybe I'll ask a couple of like more questions before I put anything that is incredibly important in here.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Awesome. Nalani, what are you doing?
You're muted.
Still muted.
Nalani is sitting cross-legged. He's got his, or Alistair's, notebook open. He starts kind of doodling and drawing acorns as kind of mindlessly as he's focusing, and his mind slowly drifts off to the images that he saw in the bubbles. First, the one of him mirrored with the crown, and he's, so if he's not consciously paying attention to it, but he's drawing sketches of those images at this point, but he is in a trance-like state thinking about these,
Okay, cool.
what he saw.
Nalani, give me... I'm gonna say insight or investigation. Investigation would be a lower DC, and you might get something new. Insight, you might get something new, but you have to get a much higher DC.
We're gonna go with, which was the higher DC, investigation?
Higher DC would be insight, but
I'm gonna
the
do
one that would be possibly more information is investigation.
I'm doing investigation. I rolled a 15 plus 4, so a 19.
Great. With a 19, DC was 17 for that. With an investigation, the weird thing that your mind gets kind of stuck on with this is there's a part of you that like is like, where do I come from? Where did I, like, what's my story as far as like birth to where I am today, right? Like, but like a younger sort of version, because Nalani, you have memories. And as you think about that, you think, what is the earliest memory that I have? And how old was I when I had it? With a 19, you remember the cabin. Inside, you remember the walls, the furniture, the fireplace. You remember the dog. What was the dog's name?
Pedro.
Pedro, that's right. You remember Pedro. You can smell his fur. You can taste that like smoky sort of vibe to the air. But you realize with a 19, you don't remember walking into that house. And there are no mirrors in this cabin. All you have is your hands in this memory. And looking down, they're not a child's hands. Nalani, with a 19, there's a serious point, and I would like you to actually roll me with this, I'd like you to roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, crap. That is a 13.
13. Okay. Okay. What do I want to give you here? I'm going to do a little bit of a homebrewy thing. You have, and so go ahead, just like kind of mark this on your sheet, maybe in notes or whatever. For the next hour, we'll say, after leaving, yes, after leaving the room here, you guys move on. For the next hour, you're going to have disadvantage on wisdom and intelligence saving throws, as there's a very real moment where you're looking into the center of this cave and into your notebook, and there's that sort of horror movie vibe where the background itself seems to zoom in, but the front part doesn't seem to move at all. As you were staring at that crown that you've drawn in, and Alana, you realize for the very first time you have no idea how old you are. So that trance gets really real for everybody around looking at you. No proof, nothing written down. The last memory you have, your hands look exactly the same as they do now. The bad part about being an elf and living practically forever. Siobhan, what are you doing during this time?
She's probably just comforting Gutter and keeping an eye on everything.
Cool. As you're comforting Gutter, you're looking at, you're trying to pull Gutter back down to a space of like, it's okay, we're here, we're not going anywhere. And you see Gutter is kind of like staring at the walls. And you see him get up and suddenly and run towards one of the areas in this wall. It's a circle, but let's say for the sake of like the artwork that's on there is essentially kind of like square. So there's like, we'll say it's 4 walls. It's fine. So runs over to one of the walls there and is staring up at it. The figure that Gutter is staring up at is a strange 4-legged creature. You see its paws almost seem like tree trunks extended out in every direction. Its body kind of like arced over, almost has this like ape-like look to it as far as the body itself goes. But the head is just like a sort of jagged piece. Almost looks like stone. I mean, it's carved out of stone, but like it's almost like jagged sort of like thing where it's significantly smaller than the rest. Like it doesn't work in comparison. And you see there's just a perfectly circular sort of orb placed where the eye would like the face would be. Essentially, it's just this orb. It's standing out on a cliff, and you see it's hard to make out at first, but you see right at like towards its left foot, you see this tiny image, and I need a perception check. Or I'll say investigation check.
$14.
14. With a 14, looking at this image, you see the figure is a rudimentary sort of marking of a humanoid figure. If this scale is scaled to the average human size. This thing is hundreds of feet tall. So probably like 600 to 700 feet tall. You see Gutter just kind of like staring at it. He looks over at you, looks over at the sculpture again.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, it's everything big.
Big.
Runs over to Io, grabs Io's book, and just like kind of like holds it in front of your face. Ah!
He's writing in Io's black journal now.
He's not. He actually like flipped the pages like he was reading it, and then like holds the journal out in front of you, and then throws it back to Io. Like roughly throws it, like doesn't like he's staring at you, but he's go ahead and roll me animal handling or insight. I'm good with either for this.
I'm going insight because I don't have animal handling. 24.
What he's seen so far from you guys, that when you're looking for information, you're looking in a book, right? And you're using a book for this like sort of, and you get like an idea that he rudimentary understands what a book is and what it does, right? He's seen that sort of thing. He obviously cannot read. Yori, actually, Yori, like you'd roll me an insight check with advantage.
Should I do insight or animal handling?
Definitely insight for this.
Okay. Be a 12.
12. You're telling a story. You're in the middle of telling a story, and you see. Actually, sorry. You already kind of compartmentalized this. You, Siobhan, you see. You see Gutter kind of hold the book out in front of you, throws the book back to Io, notices Yori's telling a story, runs over to Yori, sits cross-legged listening to Yori telling the story, and then looks at you and then says, that just does this, like his eye towards Yori.
Towards Yori.
Mm-hmm.
Not the statue.
Yeah, I would say actually probably do like his eye to Yori to the statue.
I'll go look at the statue then.
Okay, cool. Looking at the statue, you see nothing necessarily different out of place on that. But with you said 22?
24.
24, okay. With your 24, you take like a couple of glances back and forth until all of a sudden there's a part where it kind of starts to kind of dawn on you. If Gutter doesn't read, then Gutter's probably originally from an area, at least, home, wherever home would be for him, probably also doesn't read. So how would they exchange information? Through stories.
Mm-hmm.
When he was holding up that book, he was saying to you information. And then looking at Yori, he's like sitting down in front of Yori. What he's telling you, and it takes a second to kind of get this, is goes, I've heard of this story.
And it has something to do with the statue?
He's saying, I've heard of this story, as saying the statue itself.
Oh,
story.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I would call Gwen and Alistair over because they're the smart ones. and kind of explain what's going on.
Okay. Yeah. Well, through whatever you guys are doing, well, obviously we'll kind of, if we had to pull back, we would. But as you guys are being pulled away, Siobhan explains what's going on. In the meantime, I think Gutter starts. See him start to kind of like shave. He takes out his dagger and starts shaving off the wood to his staff, and he's just staring at both of you like, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. And you guys sit and wait. You guys have a full hour, so you sit and wait as you see Gutter start to make, start to bend these little like sort of carvings out into these little tiny stick figures, and puts them all in a circle. And then stands in the middle of it and puts himself up like this, like ape-like sort of thing. And as he does so, you see him take his arm and swipe at all of the thing, and like you see him like kind of like get knocked and go around everywhere. Gwyn and Alistair, go ahead and roll me both. You guys are already kind of staring at the walls here, but go ahead and give me a investigation check. Actually, sorry, specifically history check.
21.
Cool.
15.
Give me a second, as I have to go way back to find this. So as we're figuring that part out, Yori, was there anything specific you wanted to change about what you were doing or add to?
Yeah, I mean, I tell the story, but I don't think the story takes a whole hour to tell.
Right.
And for the rest of the time, he pulls out this sort of really crudely bound series of just torn pieces of fabric or anything you could write on that he's torn into just a sort of the loose resemblance of a book, opens it and starts to write in it a little bit, tries to write the poem he's working on for a little bit, but just kind of gets frustrated with it. And then he switches to writing a letter to an old friend. So he's writing a letter to Snorri that he's gonna keep with him and put somewhere eventually.
Okay.
Just about what he's been doing.
Got it. One second. Let's see if I even put it down here. There you are. Okay. Alistair, what'd you get?
21.
Cool. 21. With a 21, you walk over to that specific wall, and we'll say you just haven't gotten over there yet. And then Gwyn, what did you get?
Only a 15.
15. Cool. You both are kind of staring at this piece, and Alistair, what you can tell with the 21 is that this looks to be you see the figures of what this is constructed, and it's not incredibly detailed. With the 21, you get the idea of everything that's kind of marking the extended sort of arms and legs of this being does not look to be as smooth as some of the other markings for other things here, showing you that there's possibly some sort of mixture of this thing being either built out of rock or wood, like trees, or both.
The creature itself, not the statue.
The creature itself, yes. Okay. Looking at its gigantic size, sort of built to scale, or assuming that it is built to scale correctly, it's fair to assume that this thing is a massive primordial figure. what would be considered in like, primordials are not considered gods in a way, but this is god-like size primordial. When you see the vision, or when you see Gutter trying to give like a sort of reference to something, you get the idea that this is a story that he was told. You see this singular sort of person next to them, next to this being. And one more time, what'd you roll?
21.
21. Something sticks in your brain, and it's going to take a minute. You're not getting the full story. You're not getting everything here. But you get you look at this creature or this sculpture, and you see something about it rings a bell. As someone who is not interested in gods and goddesses and the religious sort of aspect, Primordial Field seems to be at least a little bit more grounded. You don't remember, you're sure you don't have the book on you, but the phrase, "the mountain that walks," rings in your head. That's all you get. Gwyn, you recognize that this must be some sort of primordial imagery.
Does it ring any bells specifically thinking of when she was teaching herself or learning primordial? Like, I'm sure there were some, like, you learn a lot of things by reading fairy tale books and stuff like that. That's like a really great way to learn language. Was there anything like that in any, like, probably you don't remember?
Well, there's the idea that like there's the primordial beings that were here before the earth was the earth, and like they the story goes that they basically made the land to be what it was based on the elements that they're represented. One of the things that I think you find really interesting is that this is the only depiction here that would represent that.
And the other depictions, do they show like legends from maybe different cultures or different times in history?
Mm-hmm.
And does this seem to be like the oldest one in that time?
Yeah, you nailed it. What you're seeing actually is like the other sort of imagery and stuff is things throughout history.
Cool.
It's not fables. It's not stories. Yeah. Everything else that's marked here are things that actually happened.
Cool.
Except for this one, as far as you know.
Interesting.
And
what I mean by this one seems to be the oldest of all of the ones around.
Oh, as far as the sculpture itself?
Yeah, like not oldest as in the first sculpted, but the oldest. Like, does anything appear to be, these real things that happen appear to be earlier than what I assume this mountain that walks primordial first?
You're not sure, because the only reason why I can't answer it is because this, as far as you know, this is like putting in like terms, like this is like biblical, like in terms of like we don't know exactly what happened. Exactly. So there's a good chance that none of this happened, but I'm looking at something that is staring us right in the face in the midst of a room that does have depictions of at least a couple of things that you know, like, yes, that actually happened.
Cool.
Yeah.
Can I ask that, does this look like this was all carved, all of these different things were carved by the same hand? As someone who is proficient in all tools would ask.
I would say no. It looks like this was a group job.
Okay.
Good question. And
different from the whoever sculpted the ones in the previous room.
Yes. In the same concept. I think, like, now that you guys are here, you recognize, like, the person in the first room looked like they might have been in charge of that room. but there's a significant amount of more work that's been done in this room than in that room.
Cool.
Because of the amount of statues and things like that. Like notably, like on your guys' turn, one of the things I was going to mention is that you notice that there is markings of what looks to be like meteorites that have descended into land. That correlates, Alistair, with what you specifically remember, and Gwen, you might have a little bit of memory on the idea of like a very confusing and what you've noticed would be like look to be almost covered up sort of point of history. There's a weird part to that too, though. Go ahead.
Well, I know Yori's doing his thing, but he was on the front. Actually, and Io was too, on the porch of Burcelli's
Yeah.
when we went back in time
I
and we
think it was
saw
more of us.
the meteors go over.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys have seen you've seen this happen, and the idea of there's a really weird thing here, Alistair, that kind of creeps you out a little bit. I'd say from what... Actually, I'm going to give this to Gwen. Gwen, everything that you see marked around here would probably be in the expanse of what you know, like what you know historically that happened over, we'll say, 1,000 years ago. And in that realm, I'm going to say that there's probably things that are marked on here that I would probably reference back to eventually on this, but I don't think I have everything in front of me for that. So you venture a guess as saying, like, when this was built, it must have been built, I don't know, based on these markings, 600, 700, 800 years ago. But Alistair, you look at the markings on the wall for these meteorites, and if the books that you've read were correct, and they were hard to find, that only happened 150 years ago.
So it's been active.
Or prophetic.
Or prophetic.
Or prophetic.
Is there any way for us to tell if some of these have been sculpted more recently than other ones?
Well, you that is your area of expertise. I would allow you to roll for that. So say investigation plus, we'll say go ahead and have expertise in this.
Guidance.
That's pretty good. You said plus expertise and
Mhm.
guidance. All right, so that's going to be 8 plus 6 is 14, plus 3 is 17.
Okay. With a 17, it is hard to tell a date or anything with that. But what I will give you with a 17 is that this is only from your trained eye of what you've seen from other sculptures and things that was done here. Some things are rudimentary, right? They're not perfectly represented, but there's an interesting sort of thing that takes a second. I think the rest of you, maybe Alistair could do the closest. Eventually you have like Gwen, you see Gwen just like give a really big smile and maybe like a chuckle to herself. Gwen, none of these were carved, at least by hand. You see that they're in the walls. They were probably actually pulled out of the walls into shape. And because of that, it's very hard to determine their date.
Makes sense.
But again, that gives a sense of that gives a sense of very high magic.
Mm-hmm.
Right, to be able to kind of fortify this amount of space and or a long time, I guess, is another way to kind of look at it, to be able to get this formulate it into space, but also You get that same sort of feeling. I'm gonna say with this, I wanted to give you one more insight check. It's a low DC.
I'm gonna go with these.
Can I help her? Can I offer
Yeah,
assistance?
absolutely. Yeah, you have advantage. Yeah.
Thank you for that advantage.
Guidance also lasts 1 minute.
Cool.
Can I use it more than
So
once,
keep-
or
I'll allow you to recast it on that. That's
you
fine.
can recast?
Well, it's concentration, so I imagine.
I think it's still used.
I think you
Yeah, I
tell
think
you
it
use
goes
it, but
away
it's
after
easy
that.
for you to recast it if you see
Yeah,
me
you could just
doing
say
things.
Once
so.
before the end. Yeah, I'll recast
You
it.
said insight. That is an 18. Thank you for
18.
guidance. That got me to the 18.
Cool. Yep. DC was 17, so that's good. So with an 18, you know what these sculptures are of, right? Most of them are depicting some sort of primordial being, or a being of a represented sort of thing of either the plane of air, plane of water, plane of earth, plane of fire. All of these are sculpted in a way of honoring those planes. But there's been so much whimsical and like kind of not stupid, but like silliness to some of the things. You are 100% certain that even though the depictions on here are primordial, the artists are Fae.
I think I just, as I'm figuring that out, look at Siobhan and Yori, not in a you did this sort of way, but just they are both very Fae, and so is this.
And what's very beautiful in this moment, because I was going to kind of hand this over to them, but they are both as far from the Fae as they can be in personality.
Absolutely. Yep.
So they wouldn't get this.
Yep. So I think I would say that just sort of absently to Alistair. Whoever did this is very Fae, but in a different way than we've encountered before. Because it doesn't feel like Imur is also very Fae, but Gwen has never met him, but still it's a sinister sort of Fae. And this isn't necessarily sinister. That we felt so far, even if it's trying to kill us.
As you as you like make that connection of like, okay, got it, it's definitely Fae. You look at other markings that are kind of like along the walls, and you realize like you didn't see this before, and this is kind of odd. You notice over the archway of the door that you came in, there is some like symbols that are marked into there, and you having this new knowledge in your head, you go, oh, that's Sylvan. You see above that archway the saying that says, only the powerful can enter here. And this is the door that you came in.
Does anybody speak Sylvan? Can you read Sylvan?
Yori.
Yeah, it's in my languages.
Okay. I don't have comprehend languages up, and I think she makes out enough to know that, a few words just because she's good with languages. But then she would call Yori over to see if he can read what's above the archways.
Yeah, I think you might guess that he knows Sylvan based on just your Fae. Then you might know Sylvan. So.
And I think she feels a little bad about asking because she knows how much he doesn't like it, but she needs to know. Doesn't want to spend 10 minutes to do it.
Yori, roll me a. I hate to give you advantage on this, but roll me an insight check with advantage.
Guidance.
Okay. Yeah, just sitting there throwing out guidance. 24.
I finally remembered to use it. I forget every time.
You gotta be like everyone else. Guidance.
What are you doing? You're guided. You're guided.
Cool. With a 24, there's a part of you that like starts to read this, and I think there's just like I kind of just picture it as like kind of like this like almost like this buzzing sort of feeling behind your ear of like I don't really want to be around anything that represents this in some varying degrees. I think it's truly up to you, Yori, as far as that. But one thing that you do catch with that is that even though this language is Sylvan, that's not a Fey phrasing. The Fey are very airy and eloquent with their speech. Like it's almost elven in a lot of ways, and a lot of times it's like it can be funny, or it can include words that don't really make sense on this. You think about the puzzle that you just went through, and I will tell you at this point above board, you just realize in this moment as you all are connecting the idea that it's Fey, you just had to say emotions. Didn't matter what they were. It was just emotions. As you're like, I think Yori just like kicks a stone, like fucking Fey. You that was really high, so I'm going to say also you notice that there is another one above another door. So remember, there's two doors, or there's two ways out from here. There's only markings over one of them.
Wait, I thought you said I noticed markings on another door.
Yes.
The one that we came in.
Another doorway. So the
And
one
then
that
there's
you
two other-
walked through.
I
You walked
see.
through the doorway that said only the powerful can make it through, can walk through here. So there's another door, or another doorway, excuse me, that these symbols say only the worthy can walk through here.
I think so. Yeah, it's like it's Sylvan, but it's not the way they write the Fae.
What if it's another riddle?
This whole
That's a
place has
joke.
been very.
No, the riddle's a joke. That I wasn't saying that was a joke. Like emotions was the
Yeah.
answer to everything.
Right.
It was very
yeah.
deadpan.
It's not the. But then, yeah, I committed. This one's only the powerful, and then this one is, says only the worthy can enter that one. But who knows what that means? What makes you worthy?
What makes you powerful?
Well, whatever we are, I guess we didn't enter, we exited, but, maybe pass through, maybe we're powerful.
Wait, what if we came in through the exit?
It's possible it was a cave in the middle of a forest.
Yeah, we just went
I mean,
in a
what-
place.
What if we were supposed to come in through that door that doesn't have anything on it? And when you walked in, you'd see these two doors that have things written over it.
I'm
I go
confused.
over to
There's
the
3 doors
door
now? I
that-
thought there are 2 doors.
There's the door we came in and 2 other doors. Only one of them has writing on it.
No.
Like a Y shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when Alistair mentions that, I'm going to look at him, and then I'm going to head over to that other door that doesn't have writing on it.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
Yeah, okay. Jesus Christ. 2.
2?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see,
That
you
dice
don't-
is going
you don't
in
see
jail.
anything interesting
Did
over
you-
there.
Has rolled like 2 natural ones and a 2.
Well, I will say, okay, no, I'm sorry. You would be looking in the door. I mean, it must have been a bad roll.
It
anyways.
was a 4, so minus 2 is a 2.
With investigation, it'd be +2, so 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still
So
bad.
still nothing. Yeah. Well,
So-
no, I mean you walked. Sorry, I'm sorry. There's a point that like it's pretty obvious once you walk over there and you're investigating it. You're looking over there. Yeah, you see that there's markings on the ground.
Okay. Cool.
So Yori's at the worthy door, just kind of looking through it, and he's gonna toss like a stone through at the doorway, see if it will go through.
Okay. I'm going to
see
say
if the stone is
this.
worthy?
We have to, I have to roll for worthiness. You do not. You see like a walkway kind of extending sort of further down in that same sort of like blue sort of current thing. You throw a pebble down, and you see the pebble go through and start to bounce down the walkway there, but you don't hear it.
I put my arm through the doorway. I try to put my arm through the doorway.
Okay, cool. Give me a Constitution saving throw. DC 30.
Come at me. I got it. All right. Is a 14 above 30? I'm just checking.
A 14
Checking the
is.
math
Hold on, let me.
here.
Well, check the experts.
Check the
See what the experts say.
Guidance.
I mean,
Flash of genius.
guidance, flash of genius,
Save.
bless. Just take it all. Just take it all to get there. Skill empowerment. Let's go.
Did
no
Mitch say
amount.
guidance? Did I hear that from Mitch?
Yep.
Holy shit, that was funny. Guidance. Cool. You guys see Yori kind of sticks his hand in, which is funny because I think Yori might be the only one that can actually read the languages on the ground unless you comprehend languages. So, yeah, you see Yori all of a sudden just kind of like wave his hand in, and then
He's
sucked
gone.
into the doorway and
Ah,
is gone.
okay. I mean,
Oh,
Siobhan's
boy.
gonna run after him because that's not good.
Okay, you got it.
Look, I have to play the character.
I think
Yeah.
I think Siobhan saying that is literally what Io says out loud. That's not good.
Cool. I will say you guys do get your short rest, just FYI. Yeah, great. So you see Siobhan run through. Siobhan, feel free to roll if you want.
I have a +0 to my con.
You got it. I mean, if you get a nat 20, it's a nat 20, right? I mean, that kind of. I don't know
This
if we
is
do always
what-
success here.
This
but,
isn't
like,
Baldur's Gate 3.
Hey, gang. What's more Fey than to give an unreachable DC?
Who can reach it? Someone reach it.
Yeah, someone reach it. Go for it.
If you give me guidance before you run in, there's a 1 in a million chance I could do it. I just have to roll a nat 20 and a
Guidance
4
doesn't work on
Mhm.
saving throws, though.
It
Does it?
doesn't.
That's
It's
right.
Oh,
for
no.
Ability checks, not saving throws.
Inspiration, Yori, if you did it before you went through there,
It doesn't.
That.
You mean? Yeah, I don't have any bardic inspiration left. That doesn't come back on a short rest. So we're out of that.
Cool. Oh man, that would. Okay, so Gwen, I will say you do see that there are markings. You do see that your translator just poofed out of existence.
Yeah, I think she tries her best to, in 6 seconds, memorize what those markings are so she can write them down later.
Okay.
But she's smart enough to not go through the door when half the party just went the other way.
You got it.
So,
Awesome. Cool. So are we all running into the worthy door?
Yes.
yes, but I will snap as much of a mental image of what's on the floor as well, so I can give a recall.
yeah, I
Illusion
feel
later.
like Alistair and Gwen sort of look at each other, and there's a split second where they almost just go through the other door, but then better sense.
Those markings
go the
just
other
say
way.
this way to all the great
Or
treasure.
maybe Nalani comes over and grabs them by the ears and goes the other way.
What a beautiful moment. I think this is so yeah,
Well,
so as you all
I-
get Go ahead.
I mean, let's play this out. I think Nolani comes out of his trance in the middle of an empty room.
Okay. That's fair. Yep, that's fair.
And follows Io's wet footprints to the door.
There you go. That's
Nice.
good. I was gonna say
I love it.
survival check. There's probably some. I didn't even think about it. I was wet footprints. That's
Yeah,
right.
Footprints is
That's
great.
great.
Is
Yeah,
Gutter-
you see Gutter just kind of like run through, just jump, leap through, as you all get whisked off. It truly looks like an image of it just looks like the stairways just keep going down, but it's an illusion. You guys are pulled off to a separate side. Also, by the way, at some point, the steel doors dissolved and no one saw it. No one saw the transition. It just all of a sudden they were gone. And then. I think the last thing is we see you all kind of get whisked away into the next portion of this cave. We pull back to this empty room as we hear like the dripping down, and we look at the markings on the ground as we see a little subtitle underneath it that goes, "Only the foolish may pass through here."
Awesome.
And with that, we will end tonight's session. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.
I have thoughts.